Alright guys, here with some vintage content. Gonna do kind of a vintage FNM. Kept this hand here already and hope it's good enough. We've got the Monastery Mentor. We probably have 3 lands here. We're gonna crack this fetch land end of turn for an Underground Sea and try to find ourselves some just another mana source. And my key bindings are all thrown off. Looks like we were playing against Shops round 1. It's not a huge deal, especially with a turn 1 Arcbound Ravager. This is definitely something beatable. We'll let Ravager resolve here. I gotta change my buddy's preferences here. I'm playing on my friend's account. Let me see if I can... No? Okay, yeah, F2, F6. Alright, well, some shit just got fucked up there, but... So now I'm playing, 1 is my... Okay. Sure, 1 is now my F6. Alright. Sorry, all that's settled, though. Let's go grab an Underground Sea, and let's spin the top. We're just looking for a land so that we can play the Monastery Mentor. Swords to Plowshares isn't horrible as well. Means that we can get rid of this Ravager before it causes too much of a mess here. And what are we going to do with these 2 cards when we scry 2? I think we're going to keep the Force of Will, and I think we're going to bottom the Preordain because we already have 2 of them. What's awkward about this, I'm going to see if my opponent plays anything more than just Arcbound Ravager, because I'd like to not swords this. So let's lead by Preordaining. We're going to pitch Mental Misstep. Let's put the Preordain on the bottom, and let's draw the Force of Will here. And then let's pass the turn. Hitting the 1 key, not the F6. Sphere, I think we are going to want to Mental Misstep that one. Or Force of Will it. Pitching Mental Misstep, rather. That one might be a little bit of a pain. I'm going to take 1 damage here. And if my opponent plays another creature in response, I think I will swords this Arcbound Ravager. Otherwise, I'm just going to let Ravager do his thing. He's not hurting anybody. Alright, sounds good. I think hitting my land drop is more important. The land may have already been on the top. Holy moly. Okay, so we can... Black Lotus, crack Black Lotus, replay top. Play Preordain, play Mentor. Okay, so here's the plan here. We're going to put this on top. Then we're going to put this on top. Then we're going to put this on top. Then I'm going to put this on top here. Oh, shit. I needed to grab the Black Lotus. And I put the Black Lotus way down there. Okay, this is my first time playing top on Magic Online, I guess. I just forgot how that was going to work. Alright. Definitely mucked that up. But you know what? This is still powerful enough that it should be okay. I think let's just play top and we'll try again next turn. We get a little bit punished if our opponent has Wasteland. He might play another Sphere effect. That would be kind of annoying too. Alright, let's just play the Emerald. We can still do a pretty similar play next turn. But yeah, I mucked that up a little bit. My fault. Just decided I was going to try to stream this daily like 2 seconds ago here. So there might be some learning curve. Is this going to be a Lodestone Golem? It's going to be a Walking Ballista for X equals 2. That's fine. I'll Swords the Walking Ballista, end of turn, and then I will untap and play my Mentor. Take the damage via Ravager. That sounds fine. Go down to 16. Opponent with 3 cards in hand. I think we should be able to kill him here. So it's Walking Ballista. They're going to sack their Walking Ballista to hit us for 2 points of damage here. Sounds good. I also have all the Magic Online sounds on. We'll clear that up for round 2 here. As long as we are recording and we're doing it. Alright, then he's going to sack it to put a counter on Arcbound Ravager. You know what? That makes a lot more sense. Alright, so Ravager becomes a 2-2. My opponent's going to gain 0 life. I'm going to spin this top real quick. This time, let's put the Lotus on top last. And let's first go ahead and... yeah, do it like this. Perfect. Okay. So now the plan is... yeah, and I could just grab all blue mana off that as well. So it doesn't matter what order we cast them in. Let's flip the top as well. There we go. We got the Lotus. We did it correctly. So now the plan is draw top, play Monastery Mentor. This was exactly what we wanted to do. Play Black Lotus. We're always going to yield to these triggers here. Make a Monk token. Make some blue mana. Preordain. We already know the top 2 cards of our library, and I already like most of them. We're always going to yield to our prowess triggers from monks as well. I think I'm going to draw one of these Moxen. I don't think we need both of them, but I think one of them could be fun here. Let's play top. Paying this mana. And if we draw another Preordain or something, we can cast that as well. Really just looking for Time Walk at this point. Yogg-Will would also be pretty insane. So let's spend this. Alright, there is a Yogg-Will. Can we do anything with Tolarian Academy this turn? Can't imagine so. We can flip top to grab the Academy. Can't play Jace. I mean, we can use it to hit our land drop, which is fine. But we're just going to go like this. Set up the Yogg-Will on top of the deck. And next turn we'll Yogg-Will. We will recast all this crazy shit. And most likely be able to win the game here. Bunch of monks. Sounds good to me. We don't really need the Tolarian Academy either. It might be good, but we get a free land drop off of our Yawgmoth's Will with Polluted Delta. Precursor Golem. Okay, my opponent gets a bunch of golems. We can swords them all, so that's not a huge deal either. A lot of times players will sacrifice the main one so that you don't have this golem trigger whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell. Targeting any golem, it targets all of them. My opponent's going to stay back on defense here, and Yogg-Will off the top will probably cause a concession to come out from my opponent. They might not have to. I mean, Swords to Plowshares would gain my opponent a lot of life, so they don't really have to. So our entire graveyard has been Snapcastered. Sounds great. Where do we want to start? I think let's start by playing ourselves a Black Lotus. Do I have to choose the order of these? Alright, he is going to concede there. And, yeah, that's game 1. That's a pretty good start for Vintage here. And let's see what else. I changed around our sideboard a little bit. Let's make it bigger. And I'll worry about figuring out the other settings here in between the games. How do we want to separate these cards? Well, I'll figure it out. So I like to board out a Dig Through Time, a Tendrils of Agony, and I'm not sure if I want to board out Mystical Tutor. I'm not sure. But we're going to board out a Probe, and then we want to board out all of these mental missteps. We want all of those out, and then we want all of our lands to come in, so we're going to bring in Strip Mine and Plains. We're going to board in Engineered Explosives as a Wrath effect, Serenity as a Wrath effect, Balance as a Wrath effect, and we're going to bring in 2 more Swords to Plowshares. We're also going to board in a Steel Sabotage, and then how many cards do we have to board out? 2. What do we like to board out here? Oh, Thoughtseize. I guess we go back and forth on Thoughtseize a little bit, right? But I'm going to take it out. Jace is great. There's Mana Crypt, Lotus Petal. We could board out 1 Preordain. I know we've done that. Yeah, alright. Let's board out 1 Preordain as well, keeping in Treasure Cruise in favor of that. And the goal here is to just be an actual Esper Mentor deck post-board. Just have a bunch of kill spells and stuff. And, yeah, let's go forward with this. Alrighty, so we have turn 1 Swords to Plowshares. We've got a Force of Will, but we've got a Jace VP if we don't force anything. Our opponent has mulligan to 6. We have a Monastery Mentor. It's funny, I talk a lot in Vintage about not keeping legacy hands. This is a legacy hand, but it's not exactly the kind of legacy hand that you want. We already have this Yawgmoth's Will, which feels it's kind of like a mulligan already, but JVP is one of the best cards in the matchup too. I'm going to keep it. Monastery Mentor is obviously, a super powerful card. So I'm going to see if we can't get there. We have the actual Atog215 in chat, spectating now. What's up, brother? I don't know if you caught game 1. It happened pretty quick. I misclicked with top. Wait, did our opponent just go down to 1 card? No, our opponent mulliganed down to 3 cards. Non-creatures cost 1 more to cast. Well, JVP is a creature. I'm going to let Thorn resolve. My opponent mulliganed down to 3 cards, kept Workshop, Thorn, and 1 other card. This hand's going to be great against that hand specifically. Oh, we have the basic island as well. Feel like that's really good. I'm going to play around Strip Mine, though, and just run out Flooded Strand here. It is like you are watching yourself. All right, turn 2. What is the spell? Sphere of Resistance. Well, this card's also potentially going to lock my opponent out of the game. I don't like pitching this JVP. I'm going to let it resolve. I really do want to hang on to Jace Vryn's Prodigy. Right now we've got 3 mana, so we've got just enough to cast JVP. So I'm going to hang on to it. My opponent gets to play a Sphere. They can't do anything else other than play a land. They have a Wasteland. Okay. Alright, my opponent's got a pretty solid opener then. So they're going to be able to cast whatever they draw next turn. We could potentially Force of Will it. We'll probably just want to Swords to Plowshare it off of JVP eventually here. So let's just play Island and say go. Again, we get a little bit punished if we Strip Mine, but we might want to Force of Will whatever they play or something. They'd actually have to play like a 1-drop, I guess, for us to try to Force of Will it. Alright, my opponent's going to ship the turn back to us after doing nothing. We're going to hit our 3rd land drop here. Let's crack this for a basic Plains. Let's crack this for a... I'll crack it for a Tundra. It's going to get Wastelanded. I'd rather the Tundra be in the bin and the Underground Sea still be in the deck. And then let's pass it to my opponent. My opponent can Wasteland us here, but that will take them off of being able to cast any relevant spells as well. Ancient Tomb is going to open this game right up for my opponent. Do they have a big Walking Ballista? They have a Precursor Golem. Well, luckily for us, I've got Swords to Plowshares. My opponent is going to gain a whole bunch of life points here, but we are going to get rid of all of these golems. Ancestral costs us 3 mana. Swords to Plowshares costs us 3 mana. We are probably just going to play swords here before my opponent can untap and keep us off of it, but we do get to Jace loot. I'm going to Jace loot like this first. Mystical gets Time Walk. Yogwill isn't really doing that much for us, and we can't cast it. Let's get rid of Yogwill. Then let's Swords to Plowshares, giving my opponent a whopping 9 life points, putting them back up to a respectable 27. I don't know how this works. Okay. I'm learning a whole bunch here, learning how all these crazy vintage cards work, like Precursor Golem, the newest vintage card on the market. We're certainly going to get Wastelanded here, right? All right, my opponent plays a 5, so this is a 3-mana spell. It's a Foundry Inspector. I have to let it resolve. And then our Tundra is going to get Wastelanded, of course. And all we have to do is hope that Jace can find us a 3rd land or a Moxen. We can play a Moxen here off of Jace. All right. We can still cast Force of Will, so we can leave Force of Will up. And Jace kind of blanks the Foundry Inspector. Oh, Mystical does also pitch to Force. That is a great point, and it is probably the card that we'll want to pitch to Force here. I don't know. Our hand's stacked right now. I'm going to flip Jace to try to hit my land drop. Think I'm just going to pitch Jace. And then I'm going to say this guy becomes smaller. Until my next turn, that guy can't really do that much. We'll keep open Force of Will mana. This is why you board into more basics. Mishra's Factory is decent. It's going to cost them 2 life to swing for 2. But that's a decent trade when they're the aggro deck and our life total's already low. I think this is going to come at Jace. We'll see here. Nope, it came at me. That's pretty good. That means that Jace gets to stay at 3 mana here. It's also a good threat because I can't Force of Will it. All right, another Preordain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like we are moving to discard here. I will tick up Foundry Inspector on this, and then I'm going to discard the Preordain because we've got 2 of them. Jace up to 7. The ultimate is not really a super relevant thing. Phyrexian Revoker, that we are going to counterspell because it's just going to name Jace. We could let it resolve and then try to Swords to Plowshare it. It's also not a horrible idea. But if we miss the land next turn, it seems kind of bad. I just want to start casting swords on all of my opponent's cards. Definitely a little bit punished here. Maybe I should have forced one of these spheres. Just like to keep a backup, like just in case they draw the Singleton Chalice or something. If you can afford to play around it, you do. Yeah. This is fine. Let's get rid of this Mystical Tutor. Yeah, Revoker, all of these cards my opponent is top decking now. Foundry Inspector is now going to get in along with Mishra's Factory. And they are going to go... I think at my face. If my opponent attacked face last turn, I think they're going to attack face this turn as well. This is such a high amount of loyalty from a Planeswalker here. Seems a little bit tough to try to deal with. Alright. Looks like both of them are attacking us. Sounds good to me. So we go down to 13 life points. All we need is a land. Alright, Brainstorm's not quite a land. So now whatever my opponent draws is going to resolve. Need to put in another basic land against these wastelands here. I'm F6. There's nothing I can do. Oh, big spell for my opponent. This is a 3-mana spell. That's what it looks like. Oh, it's a walking ballista for X equals 2. Alright, well, we'll have to Swords to Plowshares that eventually. It's going to want to be the first card that we Swords to Plowshares, if not Mishra's Factory. Probably just want to Swords Walking Ballista first, so that way maybe we can untap and play a Monastery Mentor. Still 2 mana off from playing Hurkyl's Recall. Oh, looks like Jace got attacked a little bit there. Alright, Foundry Inspector came at Jace that time. Opponent can't really start, like, pumping Ballista or anything crazy like that. Looks like they do have another 1-drop that they can cast. Phyrexian Metamorph, targeting the Foundry Inspector. Alright. Oh, targeting Sphere. That is a much better play. They're already winning, so might as well just target the Sphere. Makes sense. I'm going to take 5 here. Drop down to 11. Opponent should just attack me because I'm dead next turn here if they do. So now, even if I draw a Swords to Plowshares, that's not going to cut it. If I draw a Black Lotus, I can't cast that either. So we're just dead. We are just dead. Opponent can swing at us for 5 again next turn. Nothing I can draw. Yeah, I can't even play Mox Jet. That's pretty bad when you can't even cast Mox Jet. Alright. Let's jump into the sideboard again here. Anything that we want to change? Don't think so. I think I like... You know what? What if we took out Merchant Scroll against Shops? It goes and it gets Hurkyl's Recall and Steel Sabotage. And I guess it gets Force of Will too. But it seems like a really expensive card against the Shops deck. I mean, it's not like we had time to cast Preordain that game either. I used to board in Containment Priest against Shops too. Just flash it in, block their golems. Let's try some funky stuff. What if we do something like this? This gives us an answer to Foundry Street Golem and can make some of their attacks very awkward. It's just a cheaper removal spell, and it's a removal spell like Swords to Plowshares, but it doesn't get taxed by Thorns. Alright, I like it. We will be on the play this game, which is pretty important in Vintage. I'm going to mulligan a hand that is a 1-lander and nothing to cast off of it. My opponent is kept. It's kind of unlucky. I think we have to grab a basic here, which is unfortunate too. I guess I just grabbed the basic planes. It's a little bit more important. The basic planes is also harder to find. Problem is, if I grab the basic island, I can cast this Preordain. I'm going to keep this hand. Well, there's the basic planes. I guess if that is the case, I will keep the basic planes on top, and I'm not going to crack this Flooded Strand because I don't want to mess with that. So let's just play the Flooded Strand here. We're going to use that to grab our basic island. Going to go force pitching Jace the Mind Sculptor on my opponent's threat here. Alright, Mox Jet. Sometimes you want to counter the Mox. Oh, not if they have a Workshop hand, though. Yeah, I hate when they do this. When they play Sphere with the backup mana. I'm going to let Sphere resolve because we have Soul Ring. I got punished for this last game, though, so we'll see. But with Soul Ring, I can afford to kind of play around Sphere. Alright, and they're going to dissipate their floating mana. Sounds good. I'm going to play Plains. I'm going to crack Flooded Strand for Island. And then I am going to play Soul Ring, keeping Force of Will mana open. Soul Ring costs me 2 mana, but now it taps for 2 mana once it's in play. So I can still pay for a Sphere effect or something like that. Strip mine our Plains. That's pretty unfortunate. Oh, they are going to strip mine the island. Okay, well, Jace the Mind Sculptor definitely gets pitched to Force of Will now. And Swords to Plowshares is a live card. Opponent has a bunch of cards in hand. Thorn of Amethyst. Again, I can pay for that using my Soul Ring. I don't think I have too many options here. I'm just going to start trying to counter the threats. I'm going to hope to draw lands, and I'm going to hope that my opponent can't resolve more than one threat in a given turn. Alright, opponent has a factory. I guess they can just win the game already. Here comes a 1-mana spell. No, a 2-mana spell. Phyrexian Metamorph. Copying one of those. Let's exile our Jace the Mind Sculptor. It is the one thing, if you counter the first sphere, you maybe don't have to counter the Phyrexian Metamorphs, but... Okay, so now we have an answer for Mishra's Factory. If my opponent's play is to just smash with Mishra's Factory, we are actually going to trade with their land here. Ancient Tomb makes that not great for us. But we can do this Containment Priest thing at any time. Okay, Foundry Inspector, again, I can trade with that with either of my 2 white spells in hand. Arcbound Ravager is going to make these trades less possible, but I'm just going to cast Swords to Plowshares on Arcbound Ravager here. End of turn. Foundry Inspector is then going to get pumped up to a 4-3 now. You'd force what, Atog? You'd force the Phyrexian Metamorph or the Foundry Inspector? We can play Mox Pearl for the low cost of 2 mana. Storm count is 1. We can force whatever gets played here. Containment Priest is no longer able to battle with Foundry Inspector. We're just casting Force of Will this turn. Alright, Black Lotus is fine. They can already cast whatever the hell they want. Oh, white mana. Are they playing a big ballista? Oh, this looks like a big ballista, boys. Indeed. This is gonna get Force of Willed. Alright, now we're just looking for Fragmentizes and Swords to Plowshares and the like. And also a Monastery Mentor. Monastery Mentor seems pretty good here. We're going to take 4, but our opponent's clock isn't that threatening. It's a 3-turn clock. They can attack us for 6 and 6 and 6. Oh, yeah. Alright, we can play this top 2. The top means Mishra's Factory gets to battle, but we're going to be able to spin the top here with our excess mana, and we can knock off this Mishra's Factory another turn potentially. Monastery Mentor is still probably good enough to draw us out of it. Just have to Monastery Mentor and then dodge any walking ballistas. Alright, only taking 4 here. That's probably bad. That means my opponent's got some stuff. If they didn't want to swing with Mishra's Factory. That means they just have another walking ballista. Wow, double ballista. Alright. Well, that's unfortunate. So now we have to find another Swords to Plowshares. This card's going to resolve. We can play Monastery Mentor. That's not going to do enough for us. But I guess I'll do it. Yeah, alright. I think I might play this a little bit loose. It's a rough matchup, and I think I always let a little bit too many things resolve. Maybe I should just start countering the first sphere. Or if not the first one, at least the second one. Alright, opponent's going to ballista down my Mentor before I can untap with it. Makes sense. And they can even pump up Walking Ballista here. I think they have lethal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, not quite lethal, but very close. They're going to Phyrexian Revoker, just named Soul Ring. That'll take me out of the game. And then activate Mishra's Factory. And attack me here for, this is 7. Put me down to 2. And that's going to be all she wrote. I draw Jace. Can't cast any of these cards. That's it. Okay. I jumped into this like real quick. And, well, no excuses. I lost. Looks like we are the last ones done as well. So let me see if I can change around these settings real quick. It's not going to be too much longer before this fires. Why can I not change the bindings? This is the weirdest thing ever. So I clicked Restore Defaults because it wasn't working. And it won't let me change these bindings to anything else. What's up, Kaleri? How you doing, my man? Any ideas, anybody? How to make this, you know, just work? Just gonna turn off these sound effects and get on some jamming musics. I know, crazy, right? Me expecting Magic the Gathering online to work. I just don't know. I don't know what the problem is here. That's being so weird. I'm gonna bind it back to 1, I guess. I didn't think that these were the default bindings as well. Oh, you have to click unbind, and then you have to click bind, and then you have to type what you want it to be. Unbind, bind. You can't just edit the field. Okay, sure. So now we have F2 and F6. That's really all I need. Won the die roll. Let's be on the play. Winning the die roll is pretty sweet in Vintage, and we're going to keep this hand. Can't do anything turn 1, but we can turn 2 play a Jace the Mind Sculptor. And that's pretty solid. We could also turn 1 go get Force of Will, which would facilitate allowing us to play a turn 2 Jace the Mind Sculptor without our opponent being able to disrupt that. I kind of like that. Now I'm pressing 6 to try to F6. We'll see what my opponent's on to before we... But I don't think we need to ponder here. Like, we'd have to ponder and hit exactly Black Lotus in order to cast this Jace. Alrighty. Looks like another Shops deck. Shops is pretty popular online. I should turn off my auto yields, see what they're going to play first. Fleetwheel Cruiser. That's a pretty good one against Jace the Mind Sculptor, because we can't bounce it either. It's going to mean I'd have to counter every threat that we find. Would have much rather been able to counter the Fleetwheel Cruiser, but yeah, that's going to do a lot of hurting on Jace. May just decide to hang on to Jace here then. Like, maybe now we just go Ponder and then crack the Ponder after we draw a card off that. Really just looking for Monastery Mentor, which Mystical Tutor can't find. The one thing that we could do if we had led with a... No, that wouldn't have helped us either. Yeah, let's just try to find some Moxen and a Monastery Mentor. Tendrils of Agony, not really what I'm looking for. Alright, let's play Ponder. There's a Monastery Mentor and a Diabolic Tutor. And a Mox Emerald. Well, I like all of these cards a whole bunch. I can play the Mentor right now, which would mean shuffling away Demonic Tutor and Mox Emerald. But that might still be okay. If we just shuffle these away, I get to go upkeep Mentor into Time Walk, or Mystical into Time Walk, which I think is actually just enough. I think all we actually need here is Monastery Mentor to make a game out of this. So let's say no on Shuffle the Library. Let's draw Monastery Mentor, crack Flooded Strand for Tundra, play Mana Crypt, and then play Monastery Mentor off that. So on our own upkeep before we draw, we're going to cast Mystical Tutor, get Time Walk, and then, oops. Maybe should play Monastery Mentor first. Mystical for Hercules could work out as well. You think it'll just buy us more turns? Alright, that's going to name Mana Crypt, but it won't matter. Thing is, I'm not sure how much bouncing all my opponent's artifacts actually does for us here. I think we actually just get to do more, and this is Crew 2. So Fleetwheel Cruiser can smash, or it can stay back on defense. It's going to smash. That makes sense to me. Mana Crypt is named, so Mana Crypt's dead. Time Walk and Hercules both seem fine here, to be honest. But the cool thing about Time Walk is if we hit a land off the Time Walk turn, we can play Jace. That's not super promising. They both generate a Monk. They both generate the ability to Time Walk. So what's a better Time Walk? I think Hercules might actually be a better Time Walk. Alright, I can get behind that. Could also just Mystical Tutor for Ancestral. Seems not as great. We need to win a few Mana Crypt flips here. And we lost the first one of them. You know what? Because we have Mana Crypt, I'm going to go ahead and say that I want not actual Time Walk. I'm going to go ahead and say that I want Hurkyl's Recall. Because taking an extra turn when you've got a card that is dealing you 1.5 damage a turn, it's actually kind of a nombo. Could also grab Gush, which is free to cast right now. If Gush hits Swords to Plowshares or Fragmentize, we could also just get Swords to Plowshares or Fragmentize. You know what? The more I think about it, the more I'm thinking about just a Ancestral here even. Let's just draw 3, eh? Yeah, let's draw 3. Target myself. I think this is going to work out okay. We have so many live draws in the deck. Like these ones. Why draw Hurkyl's when you can just Ancestral for Hurkyl's? Sounds right to me. Anybody got a problem with that? If we could, like, Hurkyl's and bounce this Revoker for 0 mana. I want to go back in time, Force of Will this Revoker, and cast Tendrils right now and just win. But unfortunately, that's not how this game works. We're going to put my opponent down to 5. And now we have Hurkyl's plus Force of Will. That seems like the best play, right? And then on my turn, we can Tendrils for X equals 2, probably. Do I Hurkyl's in response to Inventor's Fair? Is that 1 life point going to be relevant? I think we just want to Hurkyl's in combat. I think that buys us a significant amount of time here. So my opponent's going to crew Fleetwheel Cruiser. We're going to Wasteland our Tundra. That's fine. I actually want them to Wasteland our Tundra so I can keep Underground Sea for this Tendrils. Though maybe that's not true. Another Fleetwheel Cruiser coming in. This just buys us like infinite time, doesn't it? They play another cruiser. They're going to crew the original cruiser. One, two, three. Yeah, let's just wait till they declare attackers, and then I'm going to bounce all their shit. And then they'll replay Revoker, I guess. Well, I'm going to use it right now, buddy. Alright, that should win the game. Opponent can't play anything this turn. Oh, you know what? I will turn off my auto yields because we might want to Force of Will something here. Underground Sea is bye-bye. We just need to not lose to our Mana Crypt in 2 turns here. Mox Sapphire, is Jace lethal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, Jace isn't lethal. Is Tendrils lethal? We don't want to always yield to Mana Crypt. We might want to respond to Mana Crypt. We won this flip. That's pretty good. Fleetwheel Cruiser is still lethal. So here's what we can do. We can leave open Force of Will. Or we can Jace brainstorm, hope to hit a blue card, play Force of Will. If it backfires, we can always just... We're going to have 2 monks back on defense. Yeah, I like Jace the Mind Sculptor. Let's go for it. If we hit Black Lotus, we win. If we hit Time Walk plus land, we win. If we hit blue card, we're okay. Oh, I removed all my auto yields. Oops. Alright, Jace resolves. And we might even just be able to hit like 2 spells here and win as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fragmentize doesn't work. Let's put Tendrils, Fragmentize back on top. Mox Sapphire. Mox Emerald. This is probably lethal. Oh, just Jason Emerald is lethal? 4 plus... Oh yeah, that's 16. Holy shit. Okay. Yeah, Monastery Mentor is pretty powerful. I didn't feel like doing the math. It's easier to do in paper than to try to figure it out with the Magic Online client. I desperately need some water too, so excuse me, after this game, while we are sideboarding here. We're going to sideboard the same as we did last match. All right. I'm going to go run and grab some water. Alrighty, so now the only question is, if I sideboard the same as I did last match, what the hell do I mean? Do I mean that I'm going to bring in these containment priests or not? That's the big question here. I'm not super sure. I think I like this sideboard plan. At the very least, I want to test it out right now. But I think 2-mana 2/2s... Well, my opponent actually... No, my opponent was on the vehicles version. They're probably not playing Foundry Street Denizen. It does still trade with, like, Phyrexian Revoker. Maybe we board in 1, but it's not better than Preordain. I could see that. It's better than Merchant Scroll, but not better than Preordain. I want to test it. I want it to come up. So, let's board it in. I think it might just be right. So who knows? Our opponent also didn't play any Thorn or Sphere effects, so might just not have any of those. We have a land-heavy hand with an Engineered Explosives, which is a fantastic card in the matchup. Seems good. I will keep this. The Mystical Tutor is potentially a little bit slow, but we've got a basic island, a basic plains. My opponent has Strip Mine, Soul Ring, Emerald. We have a very similar play, opponent. Oh, except they're also going to play a 4-mana costing Fleet Wheel Cruiser on turn 1. Well, this is awkward because I want to Strip Mine. I want to do my other shit. I mean, I could just completely land death my opponent here. I could blow up EE for 0 right now. I go Strip Mine, Soul Ring, EE for 0. Leave my opponent with 3 mana. We will then Strip Mine their Strip Mine and then play a Plains and Swords, whatever threats they cast. Leaving both players with Soul Ring. Is it worth blowing up all zeros? The thing is, if we blow up all zeros, Engineered Explosives is in the deck mostly to hit all zeros in the Mentor Mirror and to hit all 2s against Workshops, because the deck contains a lot of 2s. That being said, like, even if we take them off of Emerald and Jet, they're still going to be able to cast almost every spell in their deck just off of Soul Ring. I do think we need to lead with Strip Mine Soul Ring here. I think that's our play regardless. The question is, do we play the Engineered Explosives for X equals 0? Well, let's start with this madness. I think I want to not. I think I want to save Engineered Explosives for some 2-drops. Alright, are we punished? Thorn is fine. We can still cast all of our spells. We have a Soul Ring. And another Thorn is a little bit worse. It doesn't stop Jace. What's interesting now is now what happens when we blow up these Moxen. Well, now what happens when we blow up the Moxen is we maybe put our opponents in a position where they can't... Where we're going to be able to blow up all their shit. Yeah. Now they're locked out of the game, I think. Alright, I still have this stop on my upkeep. Just taking some time to think. We have 15 minutes on the clock. So now I can cast EE for only colorless mana. I'll still have to spend 2 mana to cast it. Not strip mining them now means that they are going to get me with their strip mine later. But we just cast EE for 0. I will have to play a land to pop it. That's fine. I'll just go grab a Underground Sea here. Alright, yeah, let's do this. Or wait, no. Undo. Alright, X is 0. Click OK to finish paying. I need to pay 2 mana to pay X plus 2. Alright, now X equals 0. I can play it. Just struggling with the Magic Online client here. We will crack Polluted Delta, and this is going to lock my opponent out of spells here for a second. At the very least, they're not going to be able to play anything relevant this turn. There's an old adage Mike Caffrey used to say, actually. And he used to say, if both players are strip mining each other, one of those players is wrong. It's very true. It's very true. We probably don't want to strip mine our opponent. We'll strip mine a Mishra's Workshop if that's what they draw, but the main plan with this strip mine is really just to be another land in the deck, and that's the real reason that we board it in. It also comes in against, like, Dredge and the like, but yeah, the main reason is just because it's a land. Nothing fancy. So now we're able to resolve a Jace, and our opponent should be unable to play any non-creature spells. They can still cast their creatures. If they draw, like, Revoker, they can cast it, right? Should stop calling cards for my opponent, but they do get a Phyrexian Revoker here. Sounds good. They're going to crew their cruiser. They're going to name JVP. All of these things are actually fine. Yep. Crew. So JVP can now no longer loot. And we're going to drop down to 8 life points here. But we'll be able to Swords Fleetwheel Cruiser next turn. Oh, and we also have a Swords for the Revoker. That's interesting. I think I don't want to... Like, I think I want to Swords the Cruiser. Because I do want to get the Cruiser out of here. What's interesting is that I can Swords both of these, but I can only Swords this one at instant speed. This is the only one I can Swords at sorcery speed. But I can't Swords this one at a sorcery speed with Jace. Let's play Flooded Strand. And if we just take them off of Phyrexian Revoker, they might not be able to flip Cruiser. I think I'm going to chance it here. Yeah, okay, I changed my mind. I'm going to chance it. We're going to go down to 7. Jace is going to tick up to 6, so he's going to be kind of safe. And I do have a backup Swords to Plowshares in my hand. I guess we're okay. I could also not flip Jace here, but then I don't get to tick up his loyalty. Yeah, let's flip him. Oh, Force of Will's good too, isn't it? Mystical Tutor can get Ancestral or Time Walk. Let's hang on to Mystical Tutor. Then let's flip Jace and end the turn. Alright, and I can still cast this Force of Will right now. I have 2 mana open. And if my opponent misses for a turn, then I get to cast Swords to Plowshares and Jace. I could balance myself out of the game. Mana Crypt. Pretty interesting play from my opponent there. Mana Crypt. This likely means they're done. I think I like forcing this. Does give me a win condition. But it does turn on a lot more cards in their hand. We've already fought so hard off of mana. Yeah, we want to Force of Will this. The only reason not to Force of Will is so that we could Fragmentize it. But no, I want to Force of Will it. Because yeah, like if we draw a Fragmentize, to be able to frag this Soul Ring seems insane. Let's just play the land death game with my opponent here. And we'll eventually draw a Monastery Mentor and try to win that way. Alrighty. Ask and you shall receive, like I always say. Sounds good. Wait, what? Oh, up to 1. Okay. Yeah. You don't have to choose your own Monastery Mentor. I thought there was something that Vintage players were missing or something for a second. Alright, Monastery Mentor, and then we'll get to have Mentor with Swords to Plowshares back up. Here's an Inventor's Fair. That means my opponent can play a 1 mana cost card. That's not going to be a huge deal. Alright, 1 mana cost cards are no good here. So I could cast a Preordain, but that means I have to hit a land off the Preordain. Don't think I'm willing to do that this turn. But I could wait 1 more turn and then try to do it. No, you know what? I'm off that. Let's cast Preordain. Graveyard jumping around all sorts of ways here. Let's yield to this, yield to this. Gotta be aggressive at some point. Tundra and Tundra. I like the sounds of that. Let's put both of these on top of the deck. Oh, you know what? I could have strip mined this too. Alright, let's not strip mine for a turn, but we'll strip mine next turn. Means we're letting my opponent untap with 3 mana. Yeah, that shouldn't be a big deal. Smack for 3. Alright, let's get some real hype vintage music here. And this is 4 mana to tutor. Yeah, 4 mana to tutor, where it taps for 1 mana, which means they can only cast 1 mana cost spells right now, or 3 mana cost creatures. Alright, they grabbed an Ancient Tomb, but that means they were going to be able to cast whatever they wanted to anyways. I think Inventor's Fair is irrelevant, and we want to be swordsing the other cards here. What's cool is we can Swords Fleetwheel Cruiser, then untap and sword something else. Oh, my opponent doesn't have anything? Alright. Because we have Tundra on top of our deck, I am going to destroy target land here. Are they dismembering in response? Oh, they are Inventor's Fairing in response. Alright, so that sacrifices Inventor's Fair. Wow, okay. What is my opponent going to get that they can cast off of... They have to go get another Phyrexian Revoker. That's the only thing that they can cast here. Yep, my opponent grabs a Phyrexian Revoker. Sounds good, but we've got double Swords to Plowshares. So we can Swords the Fleetwheel Cruiser, and we can even Swords the Phyrexian Revoker, and that should be enough to do my opponent in, hopefully. Let's take up Jace main phase 2 up to 5. Can't target Fleetwheel Cruiser, so we'll target nothing, and we'll pass the turn. This looks super close for my opponent. It looks like they almost have us dead, but we actually kind of have them here. They're going to name Jace Telepath Unbound. Just in case they name Soul Ring. Actually, that's fine. They can name Soul Ring if they want to. They're going to name Jace Telepath Unbound. So I have 2 options here. I can let Fleetwheel Cruiser hit me for 5, which would put me down to 1. Would turn on Jace and allow me to activate Jace. But the problem with that is that puts me dead to Walking Ballista. So I'm going to go for this play. Alright, we're going to get a Monk token. If we had a Monk token untapped, which maybe we could have played around that with a Monk token untapped, we would just get to double block the Fleetwheel Cruiser, which would be kind of cool too. I'm going to Swords this here, end of turn as well. Just going to increase our clock. We're going to need to Swords it eventually. Alrighty. Opponent's going to go up to 22 life points. We're going to grab a Mox Sapphire and cast it off of Soul Ring, giving our team +1/+1. At some point, Jace Telepath Unbound might be lethal too. We just use him to Swords one of our own dudes, which will give the rest of our dudes +1/+1. But for right now, we are content doing this. And smacking our opponent for 9, down to 13. Alright, one more turn of that. And we are golden. Lands are good, spells are good, everything seems to be pretty good for us. Best card in our deck is definitely Fragmentize. If we can draw that, I think that'll lock my opponent out. Right now, they can still draw a Mishra's Workshop and cast their cards. Ancient Tomb will let them cast some cards here too. Lodestone Golem. Big boy Lodestone. Okay, Well, Big Boy Lodestone is not going to stop us from Swords to Plowsharing here. So it will gain them 5 life points. But we will go ahead and target Swords to Plowshares, and then... These are just popping out on my other monitor. Swords to Plowshares targeting Lodestone Golem. Paying a whole bunch of mana. And getting a whole bunch of triggers. And then, so this puts my opponent back up to 16, and then we attack them for what, 11? So this will put them down to 5, meaning even if they block Monastery Mentor, they are dead next turn. Ancient Tomb made them take 2 points of damage. So, that certainly did not help my opponent. My opponent, I just saw in chat, said, damn, I was hoping the Crypt would betray you. Oh, for game 1, that must have been they were talking about. Yes, yes. If the Crypt just betrayed me a little bit more game 1, but it still hit us 50% of the time game 1. Tolarian Academy. Holy shit, that's a lot of mana. Alright, well, the land death plan is over. My opponent can cast whatever they want, and we are going to hit them with our 5 untapped monk tokens. This looks like a big boy ballista here. Going down to 3 life points? No, that can't be good enough. Yeah, you can't tap that Ancient Tomb there, buddy. Tolarian Academy plus Soul Ring generates you 5 mana. And then you can cast a ballista for X equals 2, kill Monastery Mentor, and still lose. Sounds good. We win the match. Well, we never drew we're the last people to finish again. I'm a little bit slow, and I'm talking through all the plays and streaming and all that stuff, so that makes sense. Makes us 1-1 here. Victory. We got there. Yeah, that was an interesting line. Mike Caffrey be damned, but we were able to get there. I think all my... Oh, you know what? Let's close Eternal. That'll definitely make sure that all of our lag issues are straightened out. But you should be able to refresh the stream now, and there shouldn't be any more latency issues. It looks good on my side. Oh, wait, actually, I might have spoke too soon. Let me double check that. I was looking at the wrong screen. I think there might still be a little bit of lag, which is fine. Makes it harder for us to get ghosted. Oh, now I'm even more laggy than I was before I refreshed it. Okay. I dedicate this song to Engineered Explosives. Eat. Lost the die roll. How unlucky. No fair. Looks like the stream is about 28 seconds behind here. Some occasional lag spikes here and there. Maybe it's about 45 seconds. This is an actual vintage tournament. Yes, sir. Oh, unless my friend said something in the comments. We are planning on playing Paper Vintage tomorrow. I may have missed a comment while I was refreshing the browser and stuff. Probably just shouldn't manage my Twitch page from twitch.tv/NoLucksGiven. Should probably just manage it from Mubot's portal. All right, just waiting on my opponent here. Looks like we're going to be the last games going to time again this round. Is there a way to view the tournament? Don't think that there is. 18-player tournament tonight. Which means somebody could be getting paired down. That's what I wanted to check on. Looks like I can't check on standings during a game here. Oh well, we'll figure it out. To your favorite song, you can't believe it. You were always singing along. Autumn? Oh, that's... I'm going to call you Autumn Wolf. I don't think that says autumn. Autumn. Autumn Wolf, thank you very much for the follow, my man. I appreciate it a lot. However you say that. Is that how you spell autumn? Now I just have to Google autumn. Yeah, autumn doesn't have the second A, but you're autumn with another A. Is that a real word or just your own fancy thing? Well, it's all good. I'm playing vintage, man. Cool, thank you, Kaleri. So we are playing against King Leovold and... Oh, but it doesn't look like I can check his record. Oh, yes, I can. He's right above us. Okay, so he's also 1-1. Thanks, Kaleri. My savior, my lord and savior, Kaleri Ishatal. You know what you can do for me, Ixidor's Dreams? Figure out how to get Mubot set up. Because I have no idea how to get Mubot set up. Alright, let's return to the game. I'm going to throw the deck list up on the screen for right now so we can at least all look at the deck list while we are waiting for our opponent to show up here. Sort by converted mana cost. That'll pretty much fit on the screen. Let's condense it like this, though, eh? Oh, you know what? I didn't have to do any of this shit. I guess we got random mana costs in the sideboard, though. Alrighty. I think I will still condense this a little bit and then make all the cards in the main deck a little bit bigger. Here we go. So this is the deck list that we are working with tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Take a print screen of that and let me get that cropped up while we are waiting here. Exclamation point deck. There you go. Boom. There it is. That's what I say to your exclamation point deck, my man. Yeah, if you can help me get Moobot set up, though. I'm confused on what you're saying there with the first message. I may have to get this added to my stream. 2 seems dope. What do you mean 2? Because I don't have it. All right, my opponent has, speaking of 2 more minutes to show up. Okay, and they finally showed up. Interesting. Thank you for joining us, opponent. And let's play some Vintage. This hand looks like a mulligan to me. Our opponent mulligan to 6 after much deliberation. Yeah, I'm going to mulligan this as well. Well, Preordain Canopus, his hand's bad against shops, but Preordain can hit the second land. Then we can Time Walk into a Mentor. Then we just have to find Yawgmoth's Will. Our opponent kept 6. We can also Vampiric Tutor into, like, Lotus. Go turn 2, Lotus, Mentor, Preordain. Alright, I'm going to keep this. Oh, Tundra? Tundra seems good too, doesn't it? Tundra means we don't get blown out by, like, strip mines and stuff. And it also means that we can play Fragmentize on turn 2 as well. Yeah, I could see that. Misstep's pretty good in the blue mirror, though. Depends how much help we need in the blue mirror. I don't know. I mean, half the meta is still blue. But there are a lot of shops decks. That is definitely true. Opponent is going to Time Walk. We're going to let the Time Walk resolve. They're probably going to play a Mentor, and we're just going to try to out-Mentor them. We get to go Vamp Tutor for Lotus, and then they did nothing on their Time Walk turn. So if we go get Lotus here, we can just go Lotus, Mentor, Land, Time Walk. That's kind of putting a lot of eggs into one basket, but I think I like it. We could just get Ancestral. That's always really good, too. That's the one that they're the most prepared for, though. Let's get Black Lotus. Alright, they're going to Force of Will it here. That's fine. Force of Will, pitching Dak Faden. Okay, they were trying to hit a land to play Dak Faden. Let's just Preordain. I'm not going to waste the Time Walk here. And let's put both of these on bottom. Draw Force of Will. Okay. I don't think I'm going to pitch my Time Walk to counter a second Dak Faden here. Looks like that is what my opponent's plan is. Oh no, Mentor. Okay. Well, shit. I would have countered Mentor. I didn't realize that's what was happening. I guess I'd F6'd. I really didn't think I F6'd there. But that's unfortunate. Yeah, mana drain would have been a little bit annoying for sure. Alright, I guess we have to counter Treasure Cruise. I don't know how we win this one. Pretty sure we have to do this, though. So we take 6, or no, just 4 damage here. Library of Alexandria doing nothing. Ugly Force of Will, all subjective, of course. One more card in my opponent's hand. I really would have Force of Willed the Monastery Mentor and let the Treasure Cruise resolve. Maybe we still lose the same game. We lost a lot of card advantage by vamping for a Black Lotus. That's a -2 to make a kind of an all-in play. Maybe I should have just saved all my resources. I mean, clearly in hindsight, that's what I should have done. We're just dead here. My opponent just needs to cast 2 more spells to kill us or some shit like that. Put us down to 4. Yeah. My opponent plays 2 spells. We're dead. What do they have? Nothing? Okay. Well, maybe we have a chance. Can we, like, draw top and win? Probably should have played library. That's our plan. Yeah, we needed, Yawgmoth's Will. That was part of the plan here. Let's concede this game. Move on to the next one. My fault. My bad. Alright, so I don't love the Fragmentizes in this mirror. Opponent is playing Dak Faded, so, excuse me, they have a decent amount of artifacts. Don't like Vampiric Tutor. I do like Duress. Don't like Swords to Plowshares, and I like Balance. And the other options are we could board in the Mindbreak Trap just for when things get big. We want Engineered Explosives. So we can either keep in 1 swords or we can bring in the Mindbreak Trap. What's up, Slugga? What's up, my Slugga? Alright, yeah, let's play Mindbreak Trap. Alright, we will be on the play here, and hopefully we can play some MFing vintage here. We are definitely keeping this one. Question is, how quickly do we want to turn off our library? Sometimes I board out Petal in the mirror too. I think I just want to go library go. I get punished for this sometimes, but if I am playing vintage, it is to activate Library of Alexandria. That is the reason that I play vintage, so if I draw it, we're going for it. Sure, my opponent might have a turn 1 Monastery Mentor or Jace Vryn's Prodigy, but you know what? We have a turn 1 Library of Alexandria, dudes. So I can play Mentor. I feel like we actually have enough resources already here. We can just go like Thing, Mentor, and then play top off Lotus Petal, and then just flip top, play Mentor top next turn. Honestly seems pretty good to me. They're going to need 2 Force of Wills to fight through this, or Force of Will plus Swords to Plowshares or something. Guess they could have 2 Swords to Plowshares with the JVP. Alright, that resolves. That's good. I forgot I wanted to play the top too. Alrighty, let's play top. Cracking this Lotus for blue mana, and we're just going to flip the top on our upkeep. Next turn, our plan is to go Mentor and then play another top. kind of did a mix there of like, oh, I wanted library to be good, and then I'm like, oh, never mind, fuck library, I'm just going to go all in. We do have to worry about balance. We might not even want to totally commit to the board until we have something resembling a counter spell as well. All right, Time Walk's pretty good. It's going to let my opponent flip Jace and Time Walk again. All right, Swords to Plowshares is good. That means we're just going to flip top and do it again. All right, are they going to Time Walk again here, though? That would be potentially a little bit annoying, but actually not that powerful. Swords to Plowshares might even be just as good. What are they going for here? That's probably Time Walk. All right. Time Walk it is. My opponent gets another turn. They have a Planeswalker. Using Time Walk with a Planeswalker is good, but when you have to minus to do it, what are you really setting up here? Ancestral, that's what you're setting up? Alright, my opponent's playing Vintage too. I'll give it to him. This is Vintage for sure. Monastery Mentor. And then another spell. Yep, Mox Ruby. And then what do you got for us? They're going to make one of my monks pretty much unable to attack here. That's pretty good. Okay, and then they're done after that. Yeah, we're going to flip top end of turn. You can do it on upkeep too. I just don't have a stop set there. So this is fine. We're going to play Mentor, and then we're going to play top. All right, sweet. It resolved. That's pretty good. So we get a free monk every turn. Our opponent is probably also going to be generating some monks every turn. And then we get to attack Jace. Oh, mental misstep. All right. Our top is gone. And now we can't really attack either. That was the drawback to playing our spells pre-combat, is that it allows our opponent to pump their monks. And now they get to Jace and Swords our Monastery Mentor. Mystical Tutor. I don't know what they're grabbing. They already have Time Walk and Ancestral in the bin. They could just simply go and get a Swords to Plowshares so they don't have to use up their Jace here. Oh, gosh. I've heard of that card. That's a pretty good card. Alright, let's F6 and let's watch our opponent play Vintage. They're going to Gush, floating 2 blue mana, returning Volcanic Island and Tundra to their hand, creating a Monk token and drawing 2 cards. Then they're going to play Mox Jet for another set of prowess triggers across the board and another Monk token. Then a Jace Telepath Unbound is cashed in for a Swords to Plowshares, giving us 2 life points, and then another Monk token. Then Dak Faden is going to come along, and Dak Faden can either steal a Mox Sapphire or loot for my opponent. But most importantly, he's going to create another Monk token. All right, how much is this? This is probably lethal. 6 plus 5s, so it's 21. We need to hit balance to win, at which point we want no monks in play. So we are going to chump block all of these monks here. The only other option would be if we could get a engineered explosives. But if we get an engineered explosives, we're going to blow up our own monk tokens as well. But either of those could be part of the plan here. Alright, steals our Mox Sapphire. It's going to make it harder for me to find a balance. Can I even cast Treasure Cruise? I cannot. I can exile these 3 cards and cast this much mana and then concede the game. Alrighty, well, we weren't the last people playing this match, so we got that going for us, which is nice. Yeah, that wasn't exactly what we wanted to do. Vintage on Magic Online is kind of a whole different game. Kind of a different ball game. I'm more in a Vintage Cube kind of mood. I don't know. We might do a Vintage Cube draft after this. It's already kind of late though too. 11:30. I guess I should drop from this. We are already 0-2 and prizes probably only pay out to 3-1, right? Yeah. All right, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to do, because I got a few people here. If you guys, would you guys be down for that? Some Vintage Cube action? Let's do that. That sounds fun to me. I also have a bunch of Vintage Cube content on my YouTube channel. I was going to edit it tonight, but decided to stream again. But at some point this weekend, I will be editing it into more digestible chunks, but it's all there, and it's all fun. But for now, yeah, let's do up some Vintage Cube. That seems sweet. Just change the stream title here. Sounds good, Cleary. For now, let's jump into some Vintage Cube. And I'll try to entertain you guys for a minute here. Still need a few more players. Hopefully at nighttime it doesn't completely disperse. I know a lot of people are at Friday Night Magic right now. But I think we should have a few players in the queue, right? I have yet to play Ancestral in the cube. But there are some other good cards that we have gotten to play. Haven't gotten to play Ancestral or Black Lotus, actually. It's pretty unlucky. We've gotten our decent share of the Moxen. I think we've gotten, like, all of the Moxen. Not sure I got Soul Ring either. Soul Ring might be one of the... It's in the top 5. For sure. All right, Mana Crypt doing a Soul Ring impression here. Mana Crypt is still pretty good. It's a little bit worse in games of Limited, where you really have to watch out that it doesn't just kill you. Mystic Confluence is actually insane. But Mana Crypt is then probably like Gruul Signet would be the next card that I'd look at to pick up here. So I'm definitely going to pick up Mana Crypt. And you know what? That's a pretty powerful one. I'm not going to complain. This can definitely help contribute to Storm and crazy shit like that. Deceiver Exarch is pretty good. You can make it cheaper with Mana Crypt and Basalt Monolith. I always do really poorly when I just start picking up Basalt Monoliths from the get-go. But nothing else really jumps out at me other than Deceiver Exarch in this pack. Like, Falconwrath Gorger, Deceiver Exarch, and Basalt Monolith are the cards I'm deciding between. Thalia's interesting too. Go turn 1 Basalt Monolith, turn 2 Karn. Alright, I'll take Basalt Monolith. Blightsteel Colossus. I mean, this is setting up to certainly be a Tinker deck. With Mana Crypt, you can go turn 1 Tinker for Colossus. It's setting up to be like a Mud deck as well. And this is just one of the most powerful artifacts that we can do anything with. Orzhov Signet, also really good. Phyrexian Metamorph, also really good. And Enlightened Tutor's an interesting tutor. Imperial Seal's also a really good tutor. I kind of want to grab Blightsteel. The card is just so powerful. I want to see where it can take us. Even if we just try to ramp up and cast a Blightsteel, you know what? I could be down for that right now. Turn 1 Awakening Zone off Mana Crypt. Play a Blightsteel turn 10. That sounds kind of sweet. What else is here? Looter Ilkor is good. This kind of feels soon to pick up Awakening Zone, but it's really good with Mana Crypt. Alright, we're going for cards that are good with Mana Crypt draft. That's the theme. We just want a bunch of 3-drops. Curving 0 into 3 and a 6. Have fun, Kaleri. Just make sure the universe is in one piece when I get back to it. That's all I ask. Alright, so can we find some more 3-drops and 5-drops? What do we get? What do we get? Channel Blightsteel, and it's already in green. That kind of seems like what I'm in the mood for, eh? Yeah, this is a channel deck for sure. Okay, well, that's a 2-drop, unfortunately. So that's kind of unlucky. But this is a channel deck if I've ever seen one. So we're just looking for artifacts. I think we'll take a Goblin Metalworker if we see something like that too. Metalworker's actually great with Mana Crypt. Turn 1 Metalworker. That's some vintage shit right there. That is some vintage shit. Legacy can do it too, but you need like a Simian Spirit Guide or a Moxen. What do we have here? Acidic Slime, Polluted Delta, Skull Clamp. Huh. Skull Clamp Awakening Zone? Sure. Took me a second to get there, but so the other thing that is really good with 3-drops is Mana Dudes. And I was debating taking the Pilgrim there. There's a Monastery Mentor in this pack, which is also pretty good with Skull Clamp. But so is just Llanowar Elves. And Llanowar Elves helps you get to the turn 3 or turn 2 Awakening Zone and Basalt Monolith. It even helps you cast Channel. And it'll help us ramp up into Blightsteel. I think this is a good Llanowar Elves deck for sure. Phyrexian or Evoker, I think we do want it because I think we want to be somewhat heavy in artifacts. The other options would be Bloodbraid Elf. Bloodbraid Elf into Channel seems pretty funny. You know what? Bloodbraid Elf might actually be okay in this deck. If Bloodbraid Elf can only hit good cards, then Bloodbraid Elf itself is a good card. We'll pass up Phyrexian or Evoker for now. Can go Spellskite, Smuggler's Copter, or just grab a Garruk. I think Garruk is a reasonable mid-range card I don't think we want Spellskite, really. It protects Blightsteel and does some other random shit. Copter's also pretty good, though, with Llanowar Elves. It's bad with Awakening Zone, unfortunately. Alright, let's try Copter. We'll probably pick up some other good Copter cards. Fauna Shaman is a good 2-drop. That wield. Genesis Wave. Also Enlighten Tutor. Don't think we need that. Genesis Wave is like super big. But you can cast it and have it be reasonable. I think we do want Kitchen Finks here. It's going to help with some of the life loss from Channel and the like. I think it's better than Song of the Dryads. And I'll grab Razorverge Thicket before I grab Banishing Light here. Sort these by converted mana cost. Let's take Flame Tongue Kavu before we take Lightning Helix. And Makeshift Mannequin, you can be our first sideboard card. Congratulations, Makeshift Mannequin. Pack 2. What Moxen are you going to bring us pack 2? Mox Sapphire. It's not exactly the one I was looking for, but I will still take it. Reclamation Sage and Sylvan Library are both really good wheels. If not, maybe Jace Vryn's Prodigy. Probably not Smokestack or Memory Jar, though. I can dig this. What do we need to Gen Wave for? Well, Gen Wave for 3 isn't horrible. It's like a draw 3. We really want to be able to Gen Wave for like X equals 6 and hit Primeval Titan. If we hit Genesis Wave into Blightsteel, it shuffles in. So that's fine. I will play Lightning Greaves in this deck. Torrential Gearhulk is really strong. Card was really good against us the other day. This card's actually pretty insane too. Believe it or not. Just 3 mana, destroy 2 target artifacts. It's actually kind of dumb how good this card is. So this is just Beast Within. I don't know, I'm really thinking about, should I be drafting this card higher? Oh wait, it's cycling. I thought it had flashback. Never mind. It's shitty. Let's take Azorius Signet. Dimir Signet, Oracle of Moldiah, Huntmaster, Thran Dynamo's also here. Alright, we want some big cards too, but these aren't horrible options. So Jiraga Tree Speaker is kind of a combo with Skull Clamp. Or just Coalition Relic. I'm not sure. This pick is really close. It's between Coalition Relic and Jiraga Tree Speaker. Alright. I'm going to take Jiraga Tree Speaker, I think. It's really close, though. Show and Tell, Blightsteel. Misty Rainforest. Wall of Blossoms. Also Tolarian Academy. It's probably going to be a Soul Land. Show and Tell is always such a trap in this cube. It's so easy to get blown out with a Show and Tell. Blightsteel is so good. Fast Bond. Fast Bond's kind of interesting. I don't know exactly how powerful it is. Like, if we're going to take Show and Tell, maybe we just want Shelldock Isle. We already want to take any Eldrazi we find. Fastbond can lead to some busted turn 1s, though. All right, I'll try Fast Bond. I'm not sure if we're going to play it, but I'll try it. Natural Order kind of gives us another direction to build into. It means we need to find another big green creature, but we want to find more big green creatures anyways. Shardless Agent is potentially a better Bloodbraid Elf. But Elvish Mystic is good with... I guess they're both good with Natural Order. Elvish Mystic maybe getting the nod because it's better with Skull Clamp. I'm going to take Elvish Mystic. It's a pretty good pack. Alright, Reclamation Sage. Happy that that one wheeled as well. And... oh, Ancient Grudge. That's why I was getting confused. It was right next to Ancient Grudge in the pack. Maybe we'll play Ancient Grudge. I mean, we'd probably play this too. What's up, Greg? Yeah, I'll take Ancient Grudge. I don't think we're going to play it. Though we have another sweet green-red card for us right here. I kind of want to channel Pelucranos. We never wind up doing that, but we'll put it in the deck just in case. I think we're not going to play any red. I'm not sure. I'm not totally sure here. Let's grab Scavenging Ooze for now. Scavenging Ooze is going to be a sideboard card, as is Xenagos. All of these green-red 4-drops here. Probably not playing Razor Verge Thicket at this point. All right, so what are we looking for? We're looking for Tinker. We're looking for Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn. And we are looking for Ujin. We're also looking for Avenger of Zendikar. Well, it's kind of unlucky because I'd like to be able to Natural Order out Avenger. But Natural Order isn't that great with Avenger of Zendikar also. Because it means if you're cheating this out, it means you only have like 3 lands as well. I think I'd rather just have access to Ugin in the deck. This is a really, really good Ugin deck. Ugin and Karn were the 2 main cards we were looking for, as well as Blightsteel Colossus. So I'm happy about that. Ooh, we did grab a Metalworker. Pretty sure this is a Metalworker deck. We might just have to retool it a little bit. But Metalworker, we can just play a turn 2 Blightsteel. So I'm definitely into that. Harmonize is also good, and Vampiric Tutor is also good. Might be better than some of the other things. Trigon Predator, also fantastic. But we said it was a Metalworker deck. Let's try to make Metalworker work. So we can channel Emrakul, which lets us take control of our opponent's additional turn. Not sure how good that is. Cast this for X equals 3 now, and it's somewhat reasonable. Don't think I like Sword of Body and Mind. Don't think I like Garruk either. Alright, we'll take Emrakul. I don't think I'm going to play it, though. Alright, this is what we want here. Ulamog's Ceaseless Hunger. This is one of the best Eldrazi's. We're passing up to Rastodon now for Ulamog. Terastodon's also really nasty. Natural Order for Terastodon is actually a game winner. This pack's really good. Oh, and the Tinker is here? For Blightsteel? Shit. All of these cards are all in one pack. Well, the Tinker's not going to wheel. The Ulamog's not going to wheel. Maybe the Terastodon wheels. This card just wins the game. This card wins the game if we have channel. No, let's take Tinker. It'll mean we need to play blue. But playing blue's already pretty sweet, right? Traverse the Ovenwald. That's just okay. Bazaar of Baghdad can help us loot. It's good if we find a Primeval Titan. It's not really that great otherwise. Deranged Hermit is good with Skull Clamp. It's like a Tidings. It's not really that great with Skull Clamp. It's neat, but it's actually not that great. You know what? I'm going to take Traverse. Traverse might actually help us here with all of these weird things that we're doing. We passed the Academy Ruins. I think that was pack 1 or 2, so... Alright, Tinker it is. You got it. We can Tooth and Nail and cheat in some monsters. Don't actually think this is a horrible Tooth and Nail deck. Tooth and Nail's probably better than Genesis Wave. And our Natural Order might not be panning out here either. Don't think I like Thrun. I think I'm going to take Windswept Heath, even though I know it's too late for it. There was a Tundra 2 or 3 picks ago, so maybe the Tundra will wheel. I don't really think I'm going to be missing either of those other cards. Eureka as another show and tell option. Alright, I'll give it a shot. Eureka. Here's the Splinter Twin in case we took the second pick, Deceiver Exarch. We did not. Corpse Dance doesn't do anything for us. I guess I'll just take Blooming Marsh. We're not going to play it. Maybe I could take Cast Out. I have a Razor Verge Thicket. No, I'll just take Blooming Marsh in case of Tutor Wheels. No Termaglyph Wheeled, though. I'm not going to play Termaglyph. I'll take Dark Slick Shores in case that Tutor Wheels. Nope, no Tutor Force. Oh, wait, we could Progenitus with Natural Order. That's probably good enough. And we got the Terrasti. I thought we might. I thought we might get the Terrastodon. All right, so we've got both Tinkers. We've got Tinker and we've got Green Tinker. And then we have Show and Tell. And we have Green Show and Tell. That's good. Alright. Green-Blue TinkerTell. What can we make out of this? I think we have enough artifacts for Tinker. I think we have enough green creatures for Natural Order. And then we're also making this Metal Worker work, I think. Question is, like, is Progenitus actually good enough? Is Emrakul actually good enough? I think both of these cards are potentially on the sidelines. Blightsteel is definitely good enough. Deranged Hermit might also not be good enough. Awakening Zone makes colorless tokens that aren't artifacts, so it doesn't work with either of our Tinker or Natural Order, but it might still be a pretty good card. I think we're going to cut Fast Bond. I think I can cut that pretty safely. So right now this is a 25 card deck, so I still want to cut about, well, we can maybe count this as a half of a land. So we've got 24 and a half cards here. We probably want to play, right? 25? Or no, we have... Sorry, I just totally threw off my own math. All right. So this right here is 24. Yeah, 24. So we have 24 and a half cards. Probably want to cut 2 more cards for lands. Also very awkward, we have no way to actually support this blue. So Tinker and Show and Tell are kind of looking a little bit awkward. We have no way to splash blue, but you know what we do have? Azorius Signet and Mox Sapphire, which means that some of our best cards to tinker away also give us blue mana. Okay, I can get behind that. Which point I think we're cutting like Deranged Hermit as the biggest do-nothing offender in the deck. Progenitus is pretty freaking awkward. Oh, but you know what? We can Eureka in the Progenitus and Show and Tell in the Progenitus. Okay, that makes it a lot less awkward, I think. Is Emrakul still good? Turn 1 channel Emrakul wins the game. It does actually win the game. Okay. Turn 2, rather. Turn 2 channel Emrakul will win us the game. Okay. 24 cards. This is currently 16 lands. Yeah, this is 16 lands with a Traverse the Ovenwald, counting Mana Crypt and Mox Sapphire's lands. Alright. I'm good for that. Our curve does go up pretty high with Tooth and Nail, but all of these cards help us cast Tooth and Nail too. I'm into it. Why is it suggesting we might want white mana for Kitchen Finks? You crazy. Oh, Progenitus. It's trying to give us a little bit of mana for Progenitus. Magic Online, you silly. You silly Magic Online. Alright, so we're going to play 5 islands, which in addition to the Sapphire and Azorius Signet, give us 7 sources of blue. Then we're going to play 8 forests, a Windswept Heath, which is just a forest that fuels Traverse the Ovenwald. Traverse can also help us find either double green or the first blue mana. So that's our 8th blue source. And then we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 green sources. And I'm counting the mana dudes because they'll help us cast Channel, which is the most important one. Yeah, Moto's silly. Trying to give us one of each basic land to play Progenitus. That'll help. Not. Alright. Let's save the deck. Wait. Eureka. Oh, Eureka works with Ugin? That is insane. We're gonna kill somebody. We're gonna get somebody murdered. Alright, here we go. Here's our 7 drops. Here's our 8 drops. And then these are our 10 plus drops. This deck seems sweet. Let me do my screenshot here. Oh, this is a 1 drop as well. This deck seems sweet. Let's see how far we can get with it. Why is it not letting me? Oh, we already saved the deck. All we get to do now is play with it. Sounds good to me. We don't really have anything to tinker for if we draw Blightsteel. You know what? That's not true. If we draw Blightsteel, I guess we tinker for Thran Dynamo. That's the plan. Let's murder kill somebody to death. How about it? Tooth and Nail is kind of just a show and tell, except instead of you both choosing 1 card to put into play, you just choose 2 cards and put them both into play. We are on the play here. We've got our Tooth and Nail. Alright. This works. This hand's a little bit weird, but we're going to get Jiraga Tree Speaker to level 5. And then we are just going to cast Tooth and Nail and cheat in a Progenitus and a Thragtusk. Or Terastodon, I mean. Bloodstainmire, go. Alright, good. That is not going to be good enough. Need to make sure to level up Tree Speaker every turn here. Wait, he already taps for 2? Oh, holy shit. So next turn I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 mana next turn. That's really close. If I can hit a Moxen, I get to Tooth and Nail in Terastodon. But you know what? I feel like we might be able to wait to... Well, 9 mana means we can already just cast Terastodon. I don't know. We'll see here. It's going to depend entirely on what we draw. Sylvan Library, pretty sweet, but hopefully a little bit too slow. I'd love to turn that into an elephant. All right, Ugin is a card we can play not next turn, but the turn after. That's right, right? So we can level up Jiraga Tree Speaker 3 times this turn. It seems good. It's going to give all elves this ability. But you know what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Oh, we're going to have 7 mana next turn. Alright, I guess we really just want to draw something dumb then, right? We're gonna be okay, but I guess... Oh, yeah. I kind of want to Entwine Tooth and Nail. I forgot about that as an option. Okay, let's move on to the Entwine Tooth and Nail plan. Alright. That's the plan. Get Jiraga Tree Speaker to level 5, at which point Elvish Mystic will also be tapping for extra mana. Could have attacked for 2. The damage is probably negligible here. Just trying to overpower my opponent in terms of mana. And if we draw something busted next turn, I'm just going to Tooth and Nail and put them both into play. If we don't draw anything busted, we're going to level up Tree Speaker, hit my opponent for a few points of damage, and prepare ourselves for the next turn. Ooh, they have a fetch land to go along with their Sylvan Library. That is pretty cool. You can hear my crushed ice water. 3 mana, what does that get? Vindicate for Tree Speaker. Ooh, that immediately sets us back a lot. Alright, well, we're just going to have to get there. We're just going to keep drawing cards and draw lands over time. Our ramp deck definitely got a lot of the sails knocked out of it with that Vindicate, but hopefully we can Vindicate that Jiraga Tree Speaker and kill my opponent dead. Vindicate does mean like, it's like payback, right? Is that what the word Vindicate means? Could just be totally making shit up. Our opponent's deck's mana looks insane. They are solidly 4 colors here. Skin Render are Mystic. Okay. Let's draw Basalt Monolith. Not quite. Think Eureka's still insane for us. Show and Tell's probably still good enough too. Wow, more fetch lands. My opponent took all the fetch lands. And I guess, like, you look at a card like Skin Render. Skin Render is really not impressive. But my opponent just, like, took this, like, 13th pick or something and spent all of their early picks just making sure they had a good mana base. That's sweet. I appreciate that. Bitter Blossom. That's not great. It does get Ugined, though. Yeah, let's throw in a Terastodon. Then we'll throw in the Forest. And then we'll throw in Ugin. And Ugin should be able to kill everything except for Terastodon. That's fine. Terastodon's gonna blow up Banishing Light. My opponent's done. Okay. So Banishing Light's going to select Ugin. Both myself and my opponent are going to pass. Do I have to put my triggered abilities onto the stack first? Oh, yes, I do. Okay, so I'm going to choose Banishing Light. And lands. Let's take my opponent's blue lands. Then my opponent's going to put Banishing Light onto the stack. It's not going to matter because it's just going to turn into an elephant and I'm going to get Ugin right back. And then I'm going to -4 Ugin. And I'm going to clear all of my opponent's elephants. And I'm going to get Terastodon back. Alright, Banishing Light resolves. My opponent's got to have something up their sleeve here. Anguished Unmaking on Ugin. Dang. Alright. Ugin's gone. My opponent goes down to 8. We're going to be giving them 3 elephants, but then we're going to get Terastodon back. And yes, we are going to use this ability. Then we're going to get Terastodon back, and then we can do whatever we want with this Terastodon as well. And I think we want to give ourselves elephants. My opponent dies in 8 turns to Bitter Blossom. They can't really use Sylvan Library anymore. I think we're going to want to take them off of black mana. That seems pretty real. And then I think I'm going to make 2 elephants for myself, targeting Windswept Heath and Forest. Okay. So both myself and my opponent have the same amount of power and toughness on the board. But my opponent has a Bitter Blossom. Oh, maybe I'll lose to Bitter Blossom now. That Anguished Unmaking was really good. My opponent is down to 2 cards in hand. Scavenging Ooze is pretty good, but that taps them out. So Terastodon can get chump blocked. Ooh, if only I kept all my green mana instead. I could have gone Channel Tooth and Nail. That would have been crazy silly. Alright, I definitely should have only kept 1 island, but... So Terastodon either gets chump blocked, which pressures like the Bitter Blossom, or they're going to trade for it. I don't think they're going to trade for it. 1, 2... This becomes a 4/4. That's pretty good too. And my opponent could win that. Maybe I just smash with my elephant tokens here then. Let's keep Terastodon back on defense. Or we send in everything. At which point they chump Terastodon with a fairy token. Chump with Scavenging Ooze. Yeah, we lose that game. Might lose this game regardless here. My opponent had 2 ways to deal with permanence. Alright. If they trade off elephants, I like this, though, then. Means they're less likely to be attacking. Okay, they are going to chump block with the fairy token. I kind of like that, too. I kind of like them chump blocking with the fairy tokens. Because we will just lose this game to the Bitter Blossom tokens. Do have to pressure my opponent's life total a little bit. The elephants are like almost lethal though. Is my opponent going to smack us for 12? Looks like they are. I'm going to block Scavenging Ooze here if given the option. If I'm not given the option, I'm going to block an elephant and take 9. Alright, my opponent's going to change their mind and do nothing. I like Awakening Zone a lot. I'm not sure if Awakening Zone means that we can just hold out here. Scavenging Ooze gets to be big. Oh, and Scavenging Ooze buys my opponent a lot of life points, too. There are 3 creatures in the graveyard, so that buys my opponent 3 additional turns. Our plan here is to Awakening Zone and eventually be able to cast Tooth and Nail if we can stall this board out. Our Elephant's definitely going to play defense. These fairy tokens are going to start getting in, though. My opponent also has a great draw step every turn. This is a pretty sick match. Made a few mistakes. If I had these forests in play instead of these islands, or at least one of them. I was definitely going to keep one island, but I could have just targeted Windswept Heath and island. Could have also blown up my opponent's enchantments instead of their lands. Play at higher upside, though. I just won the game if they didn't have Anguished Unmaking. Anguished Unmaking didn't seem like a card that was terribly worth playing around. Alright, Thran Dynamo means we get to do it to it next turn. Next turn we'll have an Entwined Tooth and Nail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Progenitus will win the game. And then Emrakul is probably what we want just as a flying blocker. Just having flying means that it gets to block. Hit him with the turn 10 Entwined Tooth and Nail. Nothing like a little bit of ramp action, right? Okay, well there goes our Thran Dynamo. Pretty sure. One fairy token swinging in via Exalted. Oh, they only have to swing with 1 because of their Exalted ability. Alright, looks like they're going to get us for 2. And can we untap with Thran Dynamo one time? Or Awakening Zone. Shoot. Alright. Well, these Eldrazi spawn are still going to keep ticking away. Always yes, always yield. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are 1 mana off. Next turn, we can throw Progenitus onto the battlefield, though. That might be quick enough. Alright, I like that. Next turn, Progenitus. I can dig it. Kusali Pride Mage put another creature in the bin for my opponent to eat with Scavenging Ooze as well. That's pretty sweet. If they blow up Awakening Zone, I'm going to have to hit a land. They could also find like a creature kill spell, at which point they'll start attacking us again. 3 Fairy Rogue tokens coming in, putting us down to 12. I'd like to draw Emrakul and have my spawns survive. Alright, I got a spawn, I got a forest too. That means I can keep around a spawn. Or it means I could wait 1 more turn with Tooth and Nail. That seems unnecessarily risky. Let's just play Tooth and Nail, putting up to 2 creature cards from my hand onto the battlefield. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A 7 mana show and tell. But when you're show and telling in Progenitus, that seems like a good trade-off to me. Protection from everything. So my opponent now has 1 turn to kill us or to cast a Council's Chosen targeting Progenitus or choosing Progenitus. I think we're going to see an Alpha Strike here. Oh, never mind. We're on my turn. We're going to see an Alpha Strike on my opponent's turn, though. They are just going to send with everything. Yep, might as well eat Tooth and Nail as well while you're at it. Sylvan Library. Might as well draw them all. Nope, they're going to be very... forget what the word is. Very reserved and only take one card. As long as we remember to hit this block button here, which looks like we did, we're going to be okay. Elephants can trade, and let's chump block another elephant. We're going to be taking 7 damage here and dropping down to 5. Alrighty. Wrath of God. Oh, wait. Progenitus does not have protection from Wrath of God. Wow. Okay, good on my opponent. My opponent found the line. That is certainly awkward. Let's play a Llanowar Elves. It's going to be a super close game. This is Bitter Blossom versus your own life total. What's the math for Bitter Blossom when your life total is 5? I have no idea. My opponent can no longer draw extra cards with Sylvan Library. Well, they get to draw them. They just have to put them back. Wow. My opponent did it. Blade Splicer. Alright, I'm just going to be chumping that Blade Splicer. These Fairy Rogue tokens are probably going to kill me. If I can draw like a 7-drop here, I can cast it. Nope. Alrighty, opponent goes down to 3. They can hit me for 1. Yeah, I think Bitter Blossom's going to win them the game here. Oh, geez. What's in our deck? Oh, I don't even have it up anymore. What a crazy game here. I'm going to chump block the Golem token. I'm going to take 1 from the Fairy Rogue token. I can either trade with Blade Splicer or I can return the attack with Llanowar Elves. I think I try to return the attack with Llanowar Elves. I don't get punished if I pivot here either. Really? Where do I get punished if I want to next turn play an 8-drop? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can't play Ugin next turn regardless. Oh wait, I can. I have channel. I probably die to that, though. Emrakul probably still... Oh, Emrakul definitely wins us the game. As long as I have the mana to cast it. Or as long as I have the life points to cast it. I might not. I have 3 card types in my graveyard, which means it costs 10. Just lost 2 of my lands. Okay, show and tell. If I attack them with Llanowar Elves, that means I have to chump block with the Fairy token, or they only have 1 more turn. Yeah, so they block here. We're going to block with the spawn. So this gives my opponent... My opponent now has a bunch of turns here. They'll have 3 turns. They're going to drop to 2. They're going to attack us for 5. We take 2, drop down to 2. Kill spell also wins my opponent the game. I'm not sure if Emrakul... I don't think we have enough life points to cast Emrakul now. Pretty sure we don't. Take 2, drop down to 2. My opponent goes down to 1 on their upkeep. Can we find a way to deal 1 damage? Gut shot. 1 time. Forest. No, that's not going to do it. Let's see if this brings out anything interesting from my opponent. We're showing them we have show and tell, but maybe we get to see 1 more sweet card from their deck. Reflector Mage. Jeez. Alright, my opponent's deck is really, really freaking good against Eureka. Damn. Alright, this is not a good first matchup. My opponent's deck, yeah, just real insane against Eureka. I'm not sure if there's anything I can do about it other than complain, but seems sweet for them. I'm going to go fill up my water. I will be right back. Alrighty, what did I miss? We get to be on the play. We do have to watch our clock if we're going to go to 3 games here. Looks like we have turn 2 Show and Tell Emrakul, which is really bad against our opponent, but we'll keep. Our opponent is just mulliganing to a hand that can beat Show and Tell. They have mulliganed down to 5, kept, and put a card on top. My opponent's deck does also have crazy complicated mana. They could just have a deck that mulligans itself away. I am hoping they are not mulliganing to specifically beat Show and Tell. But that could be the case here. If that is, we have a turn 5 Ugin, probably. And if not, we've got an Emrakul the Promised End. Protection from colored instance, or protection from all instance. Alright, no Reflector Mage, 1 time. Banishing Light gets us 2. Sweet. My opponent could Damnation us, or Wrath of God us, rather, as well. We don't get the extra turn trigger. We just have a 13/13 Flying Trample, protection from instance. Council's Judgment. All right, let's take a vote. God damn it. They got the Council's Judgment, too. They're going to vote for Emrakul. I'm going to also vote for Emrakul. Damn. They have absolutely everything. All right, let's play Azorius Signet into Basalt Monolith here. And next turn we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. We get to cast Ugin and start lightning bolting them. As long as I don't have Reflector Mage here. No, Ashiok. Alright, I get to start lightning bolting Ashiok. That's kind of interesting. Did Ashiok hit anything? It got a Llanowar Elf. Alright, we should be able to race this. You know what? I think I'm just going to minus and clear out Ashiok. This will kill my Elvish Mystic as well. But that seems like kind of a worthwhile trade here. Just play Ugin. The card's just so annoying. To attack them, because we don't want my opponent to just have an Oblivion Ring and then put us in a really awkward spot here. And we know that their deck is chock full of Oblivion Rings, so let's go X equals 3. Get Ashiok the hell out of here. See ya, Elvish Mystic. 3 mana, Oblivion Ring, no Blade Splicer. Okay. So we'll bolt the Golem. 3 damage to target creature or player. That's going to be 3 damage to Golem token. And then we'll play Metalworker. We'll untap our Basalt Monolith some other time. Metalworker's sweet because it also positive battles Blade Splicer here, so I'm a fan of that. Opponent with only one card in hand. They've dealt with everything else. They're not going to be able to also deal with Ugin, right? Right? What does Ugin have to minus? Minus 10. That's a pretty strong minus. Ugin is another Eureka, isn't it? We have 5 Eurekas in our deck. Qasali Pride Mage for the Metalworker after they get exalted and swing for 2. Oh no, this is like a delve spell or something, like a Tassiger. Something that... Oh, Phyrexian mana. So it's a Dismember on Metalworker, and then are we going to see a Pride Mage on Basalt Monolith after Blade Splicer swings for 2 at Ugin? Oh, I see. They're going to make us... they're going to make us hit Pride Mage with the Ugin. Could also just minus 3 on Ugin. Nah, let's start Lightning Bolting. I'm going to keep my Mana Crypt in my hand. We're going to untap Basalt Monolith end of turn. You know what? Just to watch my time on the clock, I'm going to untap my Basalt Monolith now. It's a slightly worse play, but the time on the clock is potentially important here. Pride Mage is going to keep Ugin at 2. And what else do they have for us? Alright, Recruiter the Guard going and getting Scavenging Ooze or some shit like that. Scavenging Ooze, indeed. If they play Scavenging Ooze, then they're tapped out for Pride Mage. It also means I can just Ugin and minus 3. Though Ugin minus 3 is pretty terrible. I don't want to do that. Yeah, I want to kill Pride Mage here. Or actually, no, I need to kill Scavenging Ooze. Alright, they're definitely taking Ugin down, but we can cast anything we draw pretty much, right? Are these both coming at Ugin? Looks like it. Ugin's down to 2. Alright, opponent's Hellbent again. Qasali Pride Mage will get to blow up Basalt Monolith now, though. But that's going to keep Ugin at a pretty high life total. Oh, they didn't do it. Well, misclick or something there. Banishing Light? No, Voice of Resurgence. Alright, they can take Ugin down to 3. What can we tinker for? Blightsteel? Sounds good. Actually, I'm going to undo all of this. Sorry, my time on the clock is important. But I'm going to sacrifice Mana Crypt. My life total's still really high, but it's just a much better card to sacrifice here. Alright, now they have to Council's Judgment and hope that we both vote for separate cards here. They have to Snapcaster their Council's Judgment. Hope that we both, both vote for different things. All right. So the Eureka deck beat the anti-Eureka deck in Game 2. Opponent mulled to 5, but I think my opponent's deck is kind of apt to do that. My opponent's got a pretty crazy fucking deck over there. Recruiter the Guard, and they tutor for cards in 7 different colors. Do we want to change anything about this because of that? No. Apparently not. We don't have green mana for the channel or the natural order. That's really unlucky. We're just going to have to mulligan this one. This hand has turn 2 Azorius Signet, turn 3 Basalt Monolith, turn 4 Ugin. Ugin is a really, really good card. So we're going to keep this hand just on the back of Ugin here. And we are definitely going to put Progenitus on the bottom of the deck. This hand can definitely still win. Especially if we get an Ugin off. Turn 3 Basalt Monolith is very slow for this deck. No green mana in 2 hands is not super likely or great. Okay, Bitter Blossom dies to Ugin. Not the worst thing in the world. Okay. We have turn 4 Ugin here. Right? Oh no, we need another. We need Mox or Mana Crypt to go turn 4 Ugin. And honestly, I don't know if I even want to play it just yet. I think I want to get a little bit more value. There goes my Signet. That's fine. Basalt Monolith is better. Signet's a +1. Monolith is a +3. Need to draw like Mana Crypt now, or I will also settle for Basic Forest. I will even settle for Windswept Heath, fetching for Basic Forest. Eventually we'll get to Emrakul them as well, which could be good. Also, next turn, if we just draw an island, which would be crazy, but if we do, we get to Ugin. Ugin will be online. My opponent might just start hitting us with Shambling Vent here to play around Ugin. That would be pretty crazy. I mean, the deck has a lot of creatures in it. I assume no Shambling Vent is getting in. Okay. Opponent smacking for 4. Well, luckily, Ugin only has to -2 and go down to 5 to clear up this board. Play Skull Clamp. Gives us a good card to tinker away, and it's not going to die to Ugin. And maybe my opponent will kill Skull Clamp instead of killing Basalt Monolith here, because we really, really need this Basalt Monolith. Like, really, really need it. Alright. This is Shambling Vent getting in there. And my opponent keeping open blue-black means that they're not likely to have anything else for main phase 2. We haven't seen many blue-black cards even from my opponent's deck. Wow. Did I just get super punished for holding on to Metalworker? Or not holding on to Skull Clamp, rather? That's kind of embarrassing. Whew. We might just be dead here. Though now we get to block Shambling Vent and just draw 2 cards. Yeah, that's actually fine. I think we're just going to block Shambling Vent this turn. Ooh, opponent's paying life here. Is that going to be an exile so that we don't get the draw off of Skull Clamp? Well, if they exile Metalworker and not Basalt Monolith, that seems really good for us as well. For all my opponent knows, we have Blightsteel in hand, though, too, and not Ugin. This could be Banishing Light. Council's Judgment, alright. Well, what are you voting for? Metalworker? I guess I'll vote for the same thing. Alright, we protected our Basalt Monolith. We did it. What is this? Blue, black, black, Shadow Mage Infiltrator. Alright, this is the turn we need it. Ugin, any land, let's go. Oh, our life total's so low. Alright, let's get an Ugin -3. Let's go, baby. NoLucksGiven. Reclamation Sage. Wow. We drew 4 islands out of the 8 in our deck. Oh well. Sometimes you don't get there. We might bait my opponent into not attacking with Shambling Vent. I don't know. Even if they don't attack with Shambling Vent right now, they will attack with Shambling Vent next turn. Wait, they don't even have to. This is lethal. Shadow Mage plus their fairy tokens are lethal. I'm an F6. I'd say GG's to my opponent, except that we just kind of had 2 non-games back and forth. Game 1 was super sweet. Game 2, I guess we played as well. But they rolled to 5, and then this game did just not work out. Where's our cards? Alright, whatever. That's enough of that. I was curious to see what we had coming up in the deck. No matter. Let's move on. Still think this deck is sweet, but my opponent definitely had a lot of answers for what we were trying to play there. Cool. Let's do it. We need a green creature to natural order. But this hand still looks good. I think I do just play the Basalt Monolith turn 1. What will that let me play turn 2? Whoa, Chain Lightning? My opponent mulliganed to 6 and then Chain Lightning us. But that makes me feel like I don't actually want to play Mana Crypt here. Let's just play an Elf. That'll make things easier here. I won't let go of your hand. Sounds good to me. Jiraga Tree Speaker. Unfortunately, this is not an Elf. No, you know what? No, this will let us play turn 2 natural order. And then what do we get? We get Nasty Terasty, and we're just going to turn our whole board into elephants. Turn the Mana Crypt and the Basalt Monolith and the Forest. Yeah, we're just going to turn our entire board into elephants here. Eidolon. Shoot. All right, we're going to take a little bit of damage, but we're going to have a lot of bit of elephants. Right, I can Mana Crypt. And then this is a break even. It costs 2 mana and I get 2 mana. Yeah, okay. Can I not Monolith though? I can Monolith, but it'll cost me health. So let's not play Monolith. Let's just play Mana Crypt. Go down to 14. Play an island. Let's level this guy up. Keeping 1 colorless mana floating. Then we can tap him for 2 green. Play an island. Natural order away Derogatory Speaker. Go and get a natural order. Oh, we can get Progenitus too. Can also just go get Kitchen Finks. Let's get nasty. Nasty Terrasty. NoLucksGiven, baby. Yes, we would like to use Terrastodon's ability. Get some elephants. That's what Vintage Cube is all about. Turn 2, 18 power on the board, baby. That was pretty sweet. That's a highlight video. If you're watching on YouTube, you can catch me live on twitch.tv/NoLucksGiven. Thank you very much for watching. That'll let me edit that easier later. That definitely looked highlight worthy to me. I didn't really take a second to look at what my options were in terms of sideboarding, but this hand is crazy good as well. Let's keep... We do need to find a card to put into play with Show and Tell. Wait, what's happening? Did we go through some sort of Twilight Zone? My opponent was playing Red Deck Wins, and now they're playing Shambling Vent? Maybe they're playing Italia Deck Wins, and they just didn't have the right mana game 1? Wait, I'm so confused. They must just have a decent amount of mana fixing here. Alright, they get a Woodfall Primus, we get an Emrakul. They're going to blow up our island. That's fine. I don't need islands anyways. What is happening? Wasn't my opponent just playing Red Deck Wins? I'm so confused. Did we 2-0 the Red Deck Wins player? I am so confused. So if we block the Woodfall Primus here, it gets to rebound and kill our forest. Honestly, that feels fine to me. I kind of wouldn't mind Reclamation Saging the Mana Crypt. But I don't need no stinking lands. Wrath of God. Okay. Oh, you Wrath of God, and then your Red Deck Wins. Yeah, my opponent is playing a Red Deck Wins that then turns in, or a Wrath of God deck that then turns into, as my opponent pointed out, they could have just Wrath of Godded and not swung with Woodfall Primus. That's the plan. They said Wrath into lose every coin flip. Alright, opponent's being a good sport. Here comes the Shambling Vents. That's going to help them with their coin flipping needs here. We've got some decent cards. Mana Crypt doesn't really... Well, that's pretty good. Yeah, let's play this. We can Reclamation Sage just to kill this, but then kill our Reclamation Sage. Can also put that Skull Clamp on the Metal Worker, maybe, and draw some cards that way. What is this? 5 red mana? They're going to play Cough? And then Shambling Ventus? They lost the flip again. Alright, alright. Fiery Confluence, destroying all artifacts. I can get behind that. What do we want to do here? I think I do want to take my opponent off of Mana Crypt. I don't think that's how we're going to win the game. And I think this might still be helping them more than they would have us believe. It's also, we just can't beat them using just a mana crypt when they have a life-linking creature in play. My opponent has blown the fuck out of our deck up. What am I saying? My opponent has blown our deck up this game. That's all I meant to say. Awakening Zone would be crazy good. That buys us a lot of ramp action. Natural Order is online again. Alright, there's Blightsteel, so drawing some artifacts could be good as well. We need to draw 4 artifacts, though. I'm going to swing with Reclamation Sage because I don't wish to double block here. For a number of reasons. Opponent really is. They've played nothing but mountains since wrathing us. Alright. We take 5, show our opponent our Blightsteel Colossus. I'm going to hang on to this Mox Sapphire. Let's smack for 3. Opponent didn't want to let us untap with Metalworker, and that makes a lot of sense. Shambling Vent's coming in. We've got a 5-turn clock here. Mox Sapphire adds 3 mana to our hand. Oh, you know what? Copter's really good. I want to put Copter on the battlefield and attack with it. Oh, wait. Can I undo this? No, Copter can block Shambling Vent, too. That was a mistake. I should have kept Metalworker back to pump up the Copter here. Tinker is now a great draw again because our opponent was nice enough to shuffle our Blightsteel back into the deck for us. Alright, here comes the Vent. We actually have a reasonable clock on our opponent, too. Sulfuric Vortex, okay, Kitchen Finks is no longer as good. But wait, Shambling Vent is now turned off. I think we win this race. We're going to be discarding Mox Sapphire here. So that we can crew Smuggler's Copter. No, we can't let Shambling Vent hit us. I probably should have just crewed it with Metalworker. But no matter. Let's crew it with Tree Speaker. We present lethal to my opponent if my plan is to chump block with Metalworker. Where that backfires is if my opponent has any burn spell. If they have any burn spell, we're already dead. Alright, let's chump block with Metalworker. Alright, so we're going to hit them down to 5, and then they're going to tick down to 5 with Sulfuric Vortex. We're going to chump block Shambling Vent with Metalworker. I should have powered up Jiraga Tree Speaker one time. Demonic Tutor for Lightning Bolt. We're going to make them show us the Lightning Bolt here, but any damage spell, all it has to do is deal 1 damage to us. Chain Lightning, we saw that game 1. Alright, we'll concede this one here. Let's go back into the sideboard. Now my opponent's got a crazy deck. We probably should have brought in Scavenging Ooze. But because we didn't, do we bring it in now? Do we bring in Scavenging Ooze now? Wait, why did my opponent have a Woodfall Primus? We never got that part answered. Did they just know that we were a show and tell deck? We didn't even show and tell them game one. And Primus literally only beats Eureka Ugin. Do they have any graveyard interaction? I don't think they did. Let's just play this. Alright, turn 2 Awakening Zone, then Skull Clamp. That's got to be good enough. So now we have a 2-card combo that allows us to cast each turn, pay 1 mana to draw 2 cards. Or just continue to generate mana. We can do that as well. Let's crack Windswept Heath and stop drawing lands. Alright, this time my opponent is playing Red Deck Wins. I don't actually think they sideboarded. I think their deck is just some crazy hodgepodge. Always yield and always yes. We've got absolutely nothing to do here, so let's cash in this Eldrazi spawn for some cards. Draw 2, try to hit a Tinker or a Mana Dude. I think we play the Basalt Monolith here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're going to be really close next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to be 2 mana off. Oh no, Awakening Zone. We're going to be 1 mana off. How do we make up 1 mana next turn? Well, I'm not sure, but we might have other stuff to spend our mana on next turn, including, like, Tooth and Nail. So let's go ahead and just dump our hand here. My opponent is going to need a answer to Blightsteel Colossus quickly. It's quite the monster. Mana Crypt. Here's how you Mana Crypt. We won the flip. No big deal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Or 11, 12. We will also make another spawn next turn. Alright. I've convinced myself. Let's cash in this Skull Clamp. Let's level up Jiraga. Opponent wants to kill it before we Skull Clamp it. Searing Blaze on it. That's fine. Play a Copter, and we already played a land. We'll pass the turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We will be able to play Blightsteel next turn, and Blightsteel can crew our Smuggler's Copter. Okay. Back to the drawing board. So now we're just going to continue to draw 2 cards a turn with this Skull Clamp plan. And Ugin will potentially get us back the Blight Skull. And a Demonic Tutor from my opponent. What did they get last time? Last time they got Chain Lightning. We have to worry about Mana Crypt a little bit now. Lost the flip. Unlucky. Llanowar Elf, so we can crew the Copter. That's pretty good. Let's go for Mana Crypt first here. Draw 2 cards, so we can natural order out a Llanowar Elves. We don't know what they tutored for. We can also Wreck Sage the Blight Steel. Yeah. So we can Wreck Sage the Blight Steel, and then we can natural order the Wreck Sage and blow up their mana. I like blowing up their mana a lot. Just cut them off of red, leave them with just a swamp. Blow up Tidehollow Sculler. This is going to get us our Blightsteel back. Not that I really care about that much. And I'm going to leave my Basalt Monolith untapped. Then let's natural order. And I think this time we take them out of the game with Terastodon. We might do some combination here. The plan is Blightsteel next turn. I think we're going to be able to do everything we need to do. So what happens if we give them 3 elephants? There's no way they can win from that. Famous last words? I maybe should have played the Llanowar Elf so that Smuggler's Copter could block an elephant as well. Alright, no clue what my opponent tutored for, but that's what I just wanted to be careful of that. I'm pretty sure they tutored for Mystic Confluence. Or not Mystic Confluence. Fiery Confluence. I'm going to ask them in chat. Let's call heads. Let's play a forest, and let's see how many cards we need to tap to play this Blightsteel. Looks like all of it. Yeah, I'll play Llanowar Elf here. Alrighty. And that'll be enough to do my opponent in there. GG's. That was a pretty crazy one. Cool. That was a pretty impressive showing. Leave my opponent with a bunch of elephants. And I have 25 power worth of creatures out on the board. 1-1 here going into our final round. Hopefully we can finish it off 2-1. This was a sweet deck. Oops. Alright, we won the die roll, which is also pretty lucky yet again. We have turn 2 show and tell, and then turn 3 natural order. Seems fantastic. Hopefully this show and tell is good to us. We do have to find a third land in order to cast the natural order. Shelldock Isle could mean that my opponent is playing some Eldrazi. If we show and tell and your opponent puts in an Eldrazi, you do just lose the game. Especially on a turn 2 show and tell. Face down card entered the exile zone. Good to know. Lion's Eye Diamond. Alright, this does look like a Storm deck. Well, holy shit, there's both of my natural order targets. Do I want to put in Nasty Terrasti here? I have no idea. I have no idea what to put in. Terrastodon blow up all your own shit is pretty good. I would blow up their Shelldock Isle, and I'd blow up both of my lands. No, I'm going to put in Progenitus. Don't get to play around Eldrazi regardless here. Alright, they put in a basic island. Progenitus is pretty decent against basic island. They're going to have to storm off, like, right now. Well, they got one additional draw step to storm off here. Alright, Repeal means I'm kind of glad I didn't go the Terrastodon route. Smack him for 10. And replay Llanowar Elf. Even though it gives them another repeal target, I think it is still worth playing. They're not going to Snapcast or repeal. And even if they do, we win the game. So I'm not terribly concerned with Snapcaster Mage repeal here. It's like Wall of Blossoms, and the game's over. Alright, turn 2 Progenitus on the play. Turns out that's pretty damn good. So we'll settle for a turn 2 Progenitus here. What did my opponent have? Shelldock Isle and Wall of Blossoms and Repeal. Alright, let's go for it. Green-blue TinkerTell. Of course, we've got the blue Tinker and the green Tinker. And then we have the blue Show and Tell and the green Show and Tell. Our opponent's mulligan to 6. Don't think that really impacts our decision here. This hand is a little bit awkward. It's got both colors of mana, but only single green. I'm going to mulligan. And the reason I'm going to mulligan is because we haven't had a channel game yet. My opponent mulligan to 5. I'm going to join them, because I want to get a channel game happening. This hand could be a good channel game. I'm going to put channel on top. No, alright. I'm going to put forest on bottom. We're going to look for channel. Opponent says island go. Unfortunately, the Awakening Zone creatures, like I said, they're not artifacts, nor are they green creatures. Should probably just crack Windswept Heath there, just to shuffle in the deck. Wall of Blossoms here. Yep, Wall of Blossoms. Alright, and we have Tooth and Nail to kind of make our cards cheaper. You know what? I think I'm okay hitting my land drops. I'd rather hit channel, but I think my land drops are good too. 3 mana for Shardless Agent into repeal targeting nothing. No, Brain Freeze milling us for a few here. That is perfectly acceptable. They might even mill themselves to turn on Shelldock Isle. I think that would be better. Nope, they are going to target us. The channel was 2 cards from the top. Curse you. Curse you in removing our channel victory here. That's fine. We'll keep Mana Crypt as a surprise, and so we take less damages here. Go grab a Forest, play an Awakening Zone. Next turn we have 6 mana. We also have 4 card types in our graveyard now. Alright, that is very relevant. That means Emrakul and Tooth and Nail both cost 9 mana. Opponent gets to take a look at our hand. That's right. If we draw a green creature, you are in some rough shape, mister. Celestia Signet sounds good. And Shardless Aeginuts down to 17. Let's always yes and always yield to this monster. Awakening Zone. We now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So I could Tooth and Nail the Emrakul into play. But if we draw a land next turn, I can just cast it. Yeah, I'm going to just wait. 1 more turn, if we draw a land, we can cast it. 2 more turns, we can cast it regardless. Blue-green Storm isn't typically the variant of Storm that you see. Opponent bins High Tide, empty the Warrens. Wow, High Tide Frantic Search would have been insane. They could have actually done some crazy shit here. What is this, a Rock Swarmonk? No, Mana Volt into oh, Time Twister. Shoot. Okay. Well, that's really punishing for not playing the Mana Crypt. But my opponent's not going to do too much there. That was kind of just a discard spell. Okay, they're going to have a really good next turn. And what are we going to be able to do this turn? Not too much, right? We're not going to have Ugin online. And Ugin's also not great. Because all of my opponent's power is tied up in artifacts. Tolarian Academy taps for 5 here. 1, 2... 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can play my 7th land here. Alrighty. Alright, we should definitely be able to cast Ugin next turn. Definitely a little bit punished for not putting Emrakul onto the battlefield, though. That is for sure. Who could have known? Gitaxian Probe is pretty good with the Time Twister there. Oh, my opponent's just going to untap Mana Volt this turn? Oh, that's got to be great for us. They have so much mana. Why are they untapping Mana Volt? That means they have nothing in their hand. Or they can just cast everything already. Alright, Sheldock Isle's a little bit scary. They can't activate it for like another 2 more turns, which could even just be next turn. Sheldock Isle Frantic Search is pretty insane. If they have Frantic Search, they can activate their Sheldock Isle. They would also get to float mana off Tolarian Academy. Imagine that. Traverse for a basic mountain, and they're going to make a bunch of goblin tokens here. They're going to go to their end step. Okay. I'm going to copter my opponent here before I do anything else. Assuming this gets to attack, it might get like repealed or something here. Looks like that's the case. Yep. There's a repeal on Copter. Okay. So I think I just play Ugin and Lightning Bolt the Shardless Agent or something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I'll hang on to my spawns. And let's just bolt Shardless Agent. The repeal is going to mean that my opponent can activate Shelldock Isle next turn. So our plan is really just to ultimate Ugin as soon as possible. Is playing Smuggler's Copter worth it? It could be. Yeah, let's play Smuggler's Copter. You know what? Because our opponent time twistered, we could actually channel this game. Lotus Bloom coming in hot soon. Shelldock Isle, castable right now. My opponent wants to make a bunch of goblins, which are bad against Ugin, or they want to brain freeze us for a whole bunch. Alright, here comes the Shelldock Isle. What do you got for a Shelldock Isle? Hopefully no Aeons are going to get torn here. Draw a card, draw a card, draw a card. Alright, that's one way to do it. Can also bounce permanents with this. Oh, only creatures. Only creatures. Okay, so not just better than Cryptic Command. But draw 3 cards is pretty good. My opponent's got to have enough to go off here. Lotus Bloom's still suspended, but my opponent with 4 plus... Okay, Jace, and I'm going to have to put the Storm card in a pile by itself. Pretty sure Frantic Search is the best card here. If my opponent has Empty the Warrens, that's fine. We just get to Ugin. Frantic Search generates way too much mana. Lets them draw 2 cards. Alright, they put Frantic Search into their hands, so we chose right. They're going to cast Frantic Search, generate a shit ton more mana. Yep. Filter out that colorless mana here. Oh yeah, you need your blue mana too. First tap Thran Dynamo, then tap Celestia Signet. Yeah, don't even worry about the Signet. Don't even worry about the Signet. That's just there to confuse you. I'm going to F6 here. So they get to draw 2 cards, then they get to discard 2 cards. Storm is 3. They discard Mountain Forest, the mountain that they found with Traverse the Ulvenwald. Then they're going to untap Tolarian Academy, Island, and Island. And they have access to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 mana here, just about. Alright, what do you got for us? 3 mana, is this Shardless Agent? Nope, Shardless Agent already happened. This is Wall of Roots. They're done? Well, this does not seem like a great deck, then. Alright, Smuggler's Copter is going to try to kill Jace. If it doesn't work, Ugin will take care of Jace. They could repeal Ugin now if they wanted to as well. Alright. But we'll Smuggler's Copter first because that gives us the most information. Let's attack Jace. We're going to draw a card, and I might want to bin the Metalworker, because that'll fuel Traverse. Yeah, it seems kind of sweet. We're pretty close. We're just a card type or two away from activating Traverse here. Don't know what my opponent's game plan is here. They're clearly not short on mana, as they had about 15 mana at their disposal last turn, but I'll continue to cut them off mana here just in case. That should be relevant. Alright, here comes the Lotus Bloom, as if my opponent needed more mana here. Do they need us to keep drawing cards? Like, are they going to mill us after we Ugin ult? It'll be a little bit embarrassing if Ugin ulting is actually what kills us. But I'm going to Ugin ult. Alright, so now we get to put up to 7 permanent cards from our hand onto the battlefield. Most of these suck, but Skull Clamp is really good. I mean, so are all these creatures, really. Definitely shouldn't touch Mox Sapphire, actually. Well, how many cards do I get to select? Like, all of them, right? Oh, okay. I missed Elvish Mystic, but I pretty much get to put all of them into play. And then I can Skull Clamp to draw my whole deck and die to Brain Freeze. Honestly, I'm in for it. It seems sweet. Let's start by drawing some cards with Skull Clamp here. Tooth and Nail. That should be good enough, right? We can't cut my opponent off of blue mana. That would be insane. But we can just Tooth and Nail and Entwine it. How much more mana do I need here? 2 more mana? Sure, here you go. So I can get any 2 creatures. Huh. Wait, I want to play Emrakul here. Yeah. Do I still have enough mana to play Emrakul? Probably not. Yeah, I might have fucked myself here. I think I could have played Emrakul and won the game in this turn cycle. Wait, if I traverse... So if I crack this Windswept Heath, I can get a forest. And now I can traverse for Emrakul. It's going to cost 9 mana. How much mana do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm 1 mana short. Four card types, so 9, right? 1. I'm just going to tap these all just to make sure I'm not missing something. Undo. Shit. Let's not concede the game now. Let's not do anything drastic. There's no way I can get out of this one, right? Shoot, I should have sacked Llanowar Elves. Let's sacrifice Derogatory Speaker. I know I can show and tell Emrakul in. I think that's probably worse than just not doing it. Now my opponent only has to cast 4 spells and Brain Freeze me. Wait. If I just had these in my deck, I couldn't lose to Brain Freeze. I made the literal only sequence of plays that kills me to Brain Freeze. Alright, opponent. Brain Freeze me. You got me. You earned it. This is, yeah, this is maybe... This is a super powerful turn of Magic the Gathering. But it is embarrassing how bad it is. My opponent casts High Tide. They cast any other spell, any other spell, any other spell. And then cast Brain Freeze. Welp. Like, even if I just keep either of these 2 cards in my deck, I win the game. Returns Time Twister. Wait, oh, they're gonna shuffle my Emrakul back in again? See ya, Emrakul. That Emrakul's been shuffled into my deck so many times. My opponent now... Oh, my deck's only 9 cards big. Yeah, my opponent just has to hit a Brain Freeze or the means to cast the Brain Freeze here. Alright, they had to do a little bit more work. I'm an F6. If they can't kill me from here, something is seriously, seriously wrong. Do they have to Frantic Search now? Opponent's tapping mana in weird ways. Looks like they might want to Frantic Search or something like that again. No, Jace. Alright, they're going to give me a Jace pile. Alright, Mystic Confluence is by itself this time. Oh my gosh. Alright, opponent's going to cast Mystic Confluence off of Tolarian Academy. All they have to do is hit the hit the Brain Freeze. And we took our anti-Brain Freeze tech and put it on the battlefield. I'm not sure if my opponent realizes that like, Brain Freeze is so bad in the face of Blightsteel and Progenitus. Alright, here's a bunch of mana. They're going to cast Brawl. All their spells get a little bit cheaper. Alright, I'm not sure if that does much, but seems sweet. Mystic Confluence, draw 3. 14 cards left in the deck. Where's the Brain Freeze? High Tide again. Frantic Search. Alright, here's the Frantic Search. Knew that was going to come. So my opponent Frantic Searches, discards Mountain Empty the Warrens because we have Ugin. Untaps Tolarian Academy for another 10 mana. Storm count is 10. Here's the Brain Freeze. No. 13 mana. Crack your Lotus Bloom. 15 mana. Oh, this is a big spell. Time Spiral. Try again. Untap all your lands again. So Time Spiral shuffles its Time Twister, but for 6 mana, and you untap 6 lands. So with Tolarian Academy in play, it actually generates you mana just as much as Frantic Search does. 14 mana. Are we at the Brain Freeze? We've got to hit the Brain Freeze at this point. Mystic Confluence. Oh, God. We gonna do it again. Gitaxium Probe, sure, take a look. But literally, even with my opponent doing all of this, they couldn't have beaten us if we didn't put Blightsteel and Progenitus onto the battlefield. We also could have put Nasty Terasti onto the battlefield, but I figured we were safe. I'm going to counter that. That was the wrong creature for them to repeal. High Tide is fine. Now all of their lands tap for like... All islands tap for like 4 mana now. Oh, I got my Emrakul back. Oh, sweet. You know what that means. If our opponent doesn't kill us... Alright. There's the Brain Freeze. GG. Oh, what a nutty sequence of events. Let's take out Kitchen Finks and put in Scavenging Ooze, I believe. I think that's the only change I'm going to make. Could board in Fauna Shaman as well. We considered that earlier, though, too, didn't we? We also know my opponent has nothing to put into play via Eureka other than lands here. Lands and artifacts. Alrighty. Scavenging Ooze just wants to eat whatever it can from the graveyard and make Time Twisters worse. I guess you can keep some cards in there, like I'll keep Empty the Warrens in the graveyard if I already have Ugin in play. My opponent probably could have, like, put themselves in a position where they bounce my Ugin and then Mystic Confluence it on the way back down. And then also make a bunch of Goblin tokens. But they also just won the game, so that worked out for them as well. We would like to be on the play. Yes, indeed. Show and Tell, Tinker, and Eureka. We're just going to try to tinker out a Blightsteel and make this game a lot quicker than the last. We want to traverse... No, we can traverse next turn. Maybe we do just want to traverse here. Yeah, I'll just traverse. It's not going to get that much better for us anytime soon. Both myself and my opponent playing Traverse. Pretty powerful card here. Yeah, I definitely could have played Emrakul there that turn and really done some nasty stuff. Could have just Tooth and Nailed and put it into my hand. Just Tooth and Nail to tutor it up. That would have won me the game too. Oh well. A lot of plays would have won us the game. We get it. Sand's going to be pretty slow. Turn 3 Metalworker. Turn 4 Tinker. We have to hope that Metalworker doesn't get repealed or something as well. Traverse for a basic island sounds good. They want to hit all of their islands that they can so that they can High Tide. Ooh, Mana Vault. What's happening here? Jace? Gruul Signet into Untap Mana Vault. No, Gruul Signet into Jace. They're going to take whatever pile has 2 cards in it. Yeah, they can have 2 more islands. I think that they probably have High Tide. So maybe we made bad piles there, but we're just trying to win with Blightsteel. Nothing fancy here. My opponent's deck looks crazy dirtily. So I think just turn 4 Blightsteel will be good enough. I mean, that is still really strong. It's probably not strong enough for... No, you know, it's strong enough for Vintage. Turn 4 Blightsteel. Typically, you want some amount of interaction in there, too. But if you put a Blightsteel onto the board on turn 4, it's possibly okay. Ooh, Shackles my Metalworker. Alright, that's unfortunate. That means we are going to have to find a Moxen, or we can just find another creature. That'll do it. That is another creature for sure. That is another creature indeed. Alright, so now we just have to not draw Blightsteel. Alright, Jace makes our team smaller, and then what else do they have for us? They have a Scavenging Ooze for us. It's pretty good. Let's just tinker this shit away. If they bounce it, we can put it right back into play. As long as they don't bounce it and then also Time Twister. That would be a little bit annoying. But short of that, we're in an okay position. How is Jace at 4? That's pretty weird. Alright. Mystic Confluence. You got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright. They're not going to take Repeal. They're going to take Mystic Confluence, bounce just our Blightsteel, and then draw 2 cards. We're going to Show and Tell it back in. Hope that that's good enough. I'll Eureka if I draw Ugin. They're just going to main phase this so that they can find some... if they draw some relevant spells off of this. Like, they could draw, like, some more Signets or whatever. Yep, drawing 2 and bouncing our Blightsteel. 5 cards in hand. I'm just going to keep putting Blightsteel onto the battlefield, though. Could play around Mana Leak with Show and Tell. That seems like the most worthwhile option. Oh, that also lets us play Basalt Monolith afterwards, too, as a backup. Should have played Basalt Monolith first. So that way I was always playing around Mana Leak. Alright. See you, Metalworker. Hello, Blightsteel. Opponent with 4 cards in hand. Repeal is on the bottom of their deck. Jace ticked up, but Scavenging Ooze is now a 3/3, so can't attack into that. We haven't seen any other way to deal with Blightsteel Colossus, but I'm thinking it might have another way. We haven't seen like a control magic or anything crazy like that. Alright, High Tide. Looks like they're just going to try to combo off. Alright, Time Spiral. Time Spiral's pretty good. If they can combo off, they might just be able to Mystic Confluence us again, which that actually could just be enough, right? All of their lands are islands. That's pretty crazy, too. Why are they tapping green mana, though? Frantic Search. It seems worse than just... Wait, how does this work? Whenever an island... Okay, so even if you tap an island for blue or for green mana, you get to make blue mana as well. They bind both storm cards. Seems like it kind of bodes well for us, right? They couldn't just brain freeze us out? That was their third spell. I'm kind of surprised on that. 15 mana. No Emrakul. No, Frantic Search. Okay. We're going to get all these cards back. Opponent's going to look for Mystic Confluence. They're going to get to untap all of their lands. Yeah, they're kind of doing it here. They now have access to 12... They have access to 11 mana. They can still minus Jace if they ever completely fizzle. Gitaxian Probe, take a look. I've got Tooth and Nail and the means to cast it. I might put some monsters on the battlefield on my turn. I'm going to keep Progenitus in my deck, though. That is my guarantee. Progenitus will stay in my deck. Reflector Mage seems annoying. You can have Shackles Island. Don't have nearly enough islands to Shackles or Blightsteel here, but that would be pretty crazy. They could Reflector Mage it, but if they Reflector Mage it, I'm pretty sure I just get to Tooth and Nail it right back out, right? Yeah, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's enough to Tooth and Nail Entwined. Repeal. What did they repeal there? Oh, they repealed their own Mox Emerald. They could have also repealed Blightsteel Colossus. Oh, I don't actually know which cards that they took. Oh, they took the island and the Vidalcan Shackles. Okay, that makes sense too. 21 mana now for my opponent. Worn Power Stone. If they tap all their lands, that means they have to be time spiraling. Nope. Shackles. Brain Freeze. Okay. Well, we almost lose. But we still get one more draw step. Anytime the Progenitus is hit, it shuffles itself back in. Alright, Progenitus gets shuffled back in, so that's one Progenitus. One more Progenitus. I can't really see how many cards are in my deck because Magic Online, but here's all the cards in my graveyard. Progenitus again. Okay, looks like it's just Progenitus left in our deck. Again, can't totally see what this number is, but it looks like a 1. So we're going to draw Progenitus for turn. We're going to attack with Blightsteel, and then we're going to lose on the following turn. But we're going to discard Progenitus to hand size, actually. Yeah, my opponent could have repealed or Mystic Confluenced this. But we're just going... Our plan is to just keep on discarding Progenitus to hand size. Oh, my opponent's eating cards with Scavenging Ooze right now. That's what they're doing. Alright, they've got a big Scavenging Ooze. Wait, are they going to be able to make a 12-12 Scavenging Ooze? 1... No, they're done. They're done. They've got an 8-8 Scavenging Ooze. But I'm not dead. You don't lose the game from having no cards in deck. You lose the game from drawing cards from an empty library. So the plan here is to draw Progenitus, swing with Blightsteel Colossus, pass the turn, discard Progenitus, shuffling it back into our deck. Is our opponent stealing Reclamation Sage here? They are indeed. Sounds good. What else do you got for us? You got 3 minutes on the clock, opponent. You have to find a means to deal with Blightsteel Colossus. Smuggler's Copter gets exiled. Oh, is it our turn? Oh, I don't think our opponent knows how badly we punted game 2 and why all we really ever had to do was just keep Progenitus in our deck to win. All right, they're going to chump block with Reclamation Sage and Scavenging Ooze here. I'm going to kill both of them. I'm going to say, okay, my opponent is going to take 2 poison, and I'm going to end my turn discarding Progenitus, shuffling it back into my deck. All right, what do you have for us now? Like I said, my opponent did have ways to get out of this game. They just had to repeal the Blightsteel. They could bounce it now. All right, a hideaway land. That's not going to be enough in time. Do they also have Frantic Search to untap it? They kind of need Frantic Search here. That'll do it. My opponent cannot mill our Progenitus Blightsteel Colossus deck. That was a pretty crazy match. I gotta give it to my opponent. He put a sweet deck together. But that is going to be it for me, guys. Let me throw up my outro screen here. I don't know why that never displays properly the first time, but here we go. Thank you guys very much for watching. I am NoLucksGiven. If you enjoyed the content, feel free to hit that follow button and be notified when I go live in the future. You can also catch me at my YouTube channel, which you can find a link for in the panels below the stream. And there you'll find full stream VODs, highlight videos, versus series, deck primers, all that and more. Lots of fun stuff there. Quick rundown of what I mostly play, just so you guys know. There's also a video on my YouTube channel that describes what I mostly play, but a lot of vintage cube as well as modern as far as Magic Online goes. And then a little bit of vintage and legacy, trying to get into those as well. That's pretty much it for Magic Online, maybe the occasional draft as well. And then Eternal card game, do a lot of drafting and some ranked play where I am Masters, or have hit Masters in both of those. Hearthstone Legend, Infinite Arena Drafter. Don't play too much of that on stream. A little bit of Duelist, never that on stream either just yet, but maybe in the future. Then also some Soulforge, where I am the #1 ranked drafter. Motor Dread, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it a lot. And yeah, if there's any part of it that you missed, hopefully you'll check out the YouTube and like some of that there. Got some highlight videos to make out of all of my crazy vintage cubing throughout the weekend. It's been a lot of fun. We've drafted a lot of sick decks, and this was a sweet one. Unfortunately, my opponent's deck was probably sweeter. My deck would have been sweet, though, if I had just tutored up Emrakul, cast it, and then storm comboed my opponent, milling them a whole bunch. That would have been awesome, and I could have done it. I just didn't see the play right on time there, but still sweet stuff. That is going to be it for me for the night. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.